Whoop, whoop. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, my throat. You guys have no idea. I'm trying to drink tea and get ready. Nothing works. Let's get into it. Right away, Mark's like, there he is. There he is. Mark said, there he is. Like, he's like, get him. He's there. Let's jump right into it. We just have to talk about it right away. I mean, Candace woke up and just straight up chose absolute violence. She just chose the violence right away. She said, good morning to everyone, especially Blakey Neff. Just right away with the picture of Blake wearing pink, sipping the coffee, wearing the merch with her picture in the background. As you know what I mean? Just out of nowhere. Just decided, you know what? This is what we're doing this morning. She woke up. She's holding one kid. She's like, oh, yeah, to another kid. And she just went, you know what? Let me just really quick. Good morning to everyone, especially Blakey Neff. And just posted the zestiest picture possible. And the mug. He even has the mug. I mean, come on. Why do attention to detail? I can't even zoom in anymore. But the background picture actually says Candace. There's another mug up there that says Candace. I mean, completely uncalled for. At 7:41 a.m., she chose to do this. That is Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we're going to be talking about her. Just incredible. That's actually posted by someone named Jody Chase. I don't know what's going on with Jody. I've never seen this person, but they're coming out swinging. Okay, they got some real comedic timing on X. You better believe it. Candace Owens decided. I mean, they're coming right out of the gate with a Candace Owens repost. I don't think they know what kind of level of attacks they're going to see because of that, especially from Blake. Blake might just roll up all zesty on this guy. You have no idea what's going to happen. Or lady, Jody, not really sure. It could be either. But also Nick Shirley also chose a little bit of violence this morning. He decided to respond to Candace Owens. Gave her a little post. As you guys know, the camera's not centered. We got to do it. I'm so sorry, guys. That's better. Now we're in the middle. Nick Shirley. Do I have OCD? Nick Shirley made sure to respond to her. He reposted his trip to Brazil underneath something that Candace said, just to make sure she sees that he is the real deal. I actually watched a good portion of it, which is why I'm late today. I was really tuning in to see what was going on in that whole Brazil video. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the whole Nick Shirley thing. I have some clips to pull up when it comes to Nick Shirley. I hope I can find one that is, Coach, get out of my face. It's right up here. What if I started the show like this? Hey guys, what's going on? So today, come closer here. So today we're going to be talking. What if I did that every single day? That was just like my natural thing. Would you still watch? Huh? Would you still watch? Anyway. I'm kidding. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. I don't want you to get into my pores, you know. My apologies, but we will talk about the Nick Shirley thing. Very interesting stuff. Because the thing about it is, I don't know. You could go either way when it comes to him being a plant. I'm going to talk about it. Me and my wife actually talked about this, and I would say that I made a pretty good point. I made quite the point, I have to say. I think she would agree. But we'll talk about that soon. And then we're going to roll through and talk a little bit about Dr. Erika Kirk, because Erika Kirk's a doctor, and that's fine. I'm happy that she's a doctor. You know, she's a doctor now. Candace said we should lean into it, and I agree. We should lean into the fact that Erika is a doctor now and respect it. That's who Erika was supposed to be. The same way Biden had Dr. Jill. She was supposed to be Dr. Kirk. That's what was supposed to happen. He was supposed to be president, and she was going to be like, I'm a doctor. You guys should really, and they'd be like, Dr. Kirk, you know she's a doctor, right? Anyway, we'll talk about that. And Katy Perry is an astronaut. She is. She is. And Diddy is just a guy that likes baby oil. What's the big deal? I don't understand. What's the obsession with files and people faking their education and industry plans? What's the big deal? This is how it's always been. Why are we getting upset now? Why are we mad now about the industry plants and the fake doctors and whatnot? Huh, guys? Let's just go along for the ride. What are we doing here? We're going to complain that she's a doctor now? Well, that just means that you can be a doctor too. What? Now, all that has to happen is that your husband has to die or wife. Now, that sounds like a very big ask, but let me finish. You get to be a doctor afterwards and potentially the vice president of the United States of America. Fair trade. Fair trade. I say. I'm just not, she didn't do anything though. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying what has to happen. I'm just saying the events that took place. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I'm not putting it on her. Just saying, if you'd like to be a doctor too, sacrifices have to be made. You know? Anyway. And you don't see your kids anymore. Hey, what's the big deal? You know? You get to be famous. Isn't that wild? That, like, you know, I'm not even talking about Erika. Kind of am, but I'm not, you know, because, you know, I'm trying to avoid those letters and everything. But isn't it wild? The price of fame is crazy. The devil will get you, man. The devil will be like, you want to be famous? And you're like, yeah, I want to be famous. You want to be real famous? Yeah. You just do a couple weird movies and some CIA propaganda video for EMPs, and don't worry, I'll make sure you're famous. And then you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it's September 12th, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And the devil's like, what do you mean? There's going to be pyrotechnics in a second. You're going to go out on stage. Everyone's going to cheer for you. I thought this is what you wanted. And you're like, what the And then the devil looks at you and says, and hold on, you're going to be a doctor. And you're like, oh, a doctor? I've always wanted to be a doctor. And I'm going to be famous, rich as well. Well, thank you very much, sir. I drank 12 ounces of coffee. I put it inside the oatmeal with the protein. I stirred it around and I drank it from a container. Okay. And I drank it all really fast. I apologize. I'll calm down soon. Anyway. Can't get over this picture. What does Blake think when he sees this picture? You know? I don't know. What does he think? What does he think when he sees that? I'd be pissed. Although I like pink. You know, you can ask my wife. I actually like pink quite a bit. Pink's actually a great color. Great on me, you know? Oh, we got Erika's speech here. Now, fair warning. I'm gonna give you this little warning. You're going to be watching Erika's speech accepting her doctorate. You're going to see Pat Sajak nodding in and out of consciousness as she's doing it. What's Pat Sajak's even doing there? What's he even doing there? What are we talking about right now? Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. It's good to see all you guys. You know, I'm making up for lost time. When I do interviews, I did an interview with Sabby. I have to come real calm. I couldn't bring Sabby this energy. You think I can bring Sabby this energy? She'd be like, what the hell's going on right now? I couldn't do that to her. So I made sure to just tone it down, you know, tone it down, tone it right down. I don't bring people that type of energy. You know, I like to stay nice and calm, make them comfortable, make them feel okay. Maybe next time she's on, I'll bring this energy. I'll just go off. You know, I'll be like Robin Williams and she'll be like, what's going on here? Anyway, let's jump into the first Candace Owens clip. Do apologize for being late. These tabs, ladies and gentlemen, these tabs, they get to me. Let's jump over here really quick. Candace Owens. I forgot to say happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you guys. Okay. Happy Mother's Day to Candace, of course. Forgot to say Happy Mother's Day. There's so many people. Anyway, let's jump in. This is the first clip as she gets into the Project Constitution, Andrew getting divorced thing. Now, I definitely want to make a point here. Let's get into it.
Reported that Andrew Colvett was getting a divorce, and it was just not true. The basis of the report was not true. But boy, oh boy, did all of Turning Point USA rise up to defend Andrew Colvett's honor. I mean, Andrew himself hit back hard immediately. He basically turned into Will Smith at the Oscars. He wrote this: LOL, you wish, fat boy. And then he says, keep my wife's name out of your mouth and off your feed, and you'll have more problems than you bargained for. To everyone else, happy Mother's Day. And yeah, we can pull.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Hey, listen, it's his wife, okay? Because I was going to say, like, I'd never seen him defend Charlie like this. I've never seen him, defend the allegations or address anything like this. But this is his wife, He has to go off for his wife, especially after Mother's Day. And, I assume they have kids. It's like you got to go all out for your wife. Calling Project Constitution a fat boy is hilarious. Project Constitution knows. I think he's great, but I think Project Constitution even laughed at this. Being called fat boy is absolutely hilarious. But Project Constitution should have said back, listen, gay boy, that's what he should have done. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying somebody throws fat at you, you got to throw the zest back at them. That's what you got to do. Those are the rules. Project Constitution should have done that.
Pull that clip in because it was definitely giving that energy of Will Smith. If you want to play that clip.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, that was the energy of that. And then it wasn't left there. Tyler Boyer then jumped into the foray to further defend Andrew's honor over a divorce rumor. I'm like, this is just like, I wake up and there are rumors about me getting a divorce. But Tyler Boyer said, we have had numerous things like this said about us. It is reckless disregard for truth from people who call themselves investigators. Okay, never one to be left behind. Blakey Neff jumped in. He wrote back to Project Constitution, you are not very smart, are you? And then when somebody...
it is funny. Those three remarks, right? You can think back to what Andrew just said. Like, hey, fat boy. Then another guy's like, this is just a reckless disregard for truth. And the other guy's like, you're not very smart, are you? These guys are very zesty. All three of them are very zesty. I didn't realize how zesty until a couple of days ago when Blake was like, period. And I was like, that was kind of zesty. And now I hear these remarks and I'm like, this is very weird. This is very weird. This doesn't sound like, and again, nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't sound like the hardcore conservative types. You know what I mean? Just sounds a little bit, listen here, fat boy. Like that is how a zesty guy would get at you. A zesty guy would look you up and down and be like, you're overweight. How about that? How's your calories? Listen, high calorie man. That's what I'm just saying. No, there's nothing wrong with it. But man, oh man, is some things being revealed with these guys. I never jumped on that bandwagon of Andrew being zesty or Benny Johnson or Tyler. I think I'm on board. I think they're a little zesty. I'm just saying. Somebody said Mean Girls. Yeah, they got mean girl energy. Very mean girl energy. I'm not saying like they're bullying Project Constitution. I'm not saying that. Project Constitution's ready for it. In fact, these type of responses is what he wants. He actually loves, he's sitting back laughing for sure. He loves those type of responses, but I mean, a little sugary in the tank, a little bit of that sugar honey iced tea in the tank. You know what I mean?
He asked a question about why Andrew's wife was not at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Blake Neff insisted, he wrote back, again, this is just all, Blake Neff wrote, instead of posting deranged rumor mongering at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, have you considered that you could look this up or use your brain? White House Correspondents' Dinners are all held by press outlets. Everyone else is there by invitation. How'd you even know he was offered a +1? Andrew lives in Phoenix and has 3 children. How do you know his wife would want to fly 5 hours across the country to attend one dinner? Okay, so strong. I by the way, have never heard that Andrew Colvett is divorcing his wife. Like I said, bit of an aggressive response for a divorce rumor, which I literally think this happens like once a week when you're in the public space. Me, regarding that, I'm just forever amazed at what Turning Point USA and their execs choose to respond to. And the more important things that they remain mum on, okay? Like I said, apparently it was Project Constitution who sourced this rumor, and they were happy to respond to it, which means that they do not view him as a psychopathic, knife-wielding subway killer. So they responded, right? Because it has been, according to our count, and I'm keeping the count here on our desk, 39 long days since we reported that donors who were present in Aspen assert that the audio, which was shared by Turning Point USA, of Charlie saying, "I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA. If something happens to me, she'll do a great job," was faked.
She has I kind of missed this. I saw it, but I didn't actually catch the part where she explains it. So she has a day counter. She has a day count. Let me tell you something. They did not realize that there were going to be people who were asking them questions and then counting the days that they didn't get answered. There's no way they thought this. They were like, I don't know, BB says something's going to happen on the 10th and he says it's going to be fine. We're all going to make some money. I don't know. What do you think's going on? I don't know. I don't really know. I have no idea. And they thought it was just going to go smooth. They're like, he took the SD cards, right? He took them? Took both, right? All right. We're smooth. Brian, you good? Huh? We're going to fire you, Brian. We're going to fire you. I'm kidding. That stuff didn't happen. Those are good men. Those are good, zesty men. Okay? You gotta stay consistent with your thinking. Do you think 3 zesty men could pull off something like that? I don't. No insult at all to anybody who is, in the zesty community. I don't think they could pull that off. Blake is a geriatric twink. He can't pull anything like that off. You know what I mean? I don't think they did anything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, they didn't think that people would be like, I'm counting the days since I asked this guy this question. There's no way in August they thought that was going to happen. This was going to be their lives of people being like, heard you got divorced, bro. Heard you're zesty, bro. Oh, what's going on? What's with Erika, bro? Show us the video with the audio, bro. They didn't think all that was. This is crazy. Then you have Baron going through timelines. Baron sending you messages on his podcast about your soul. Yeah, nobody thought all that was going to happen. People are making memes about you, huh? They're dressing you up. They're dressing you up and stuff like this. There's no way they thought this was going to happen. You know what I mean? This is crazy. I'd be upset, I have to say. Please don't give Nick Shirley recognition. Relax. We're going to play some of his stuff, but I am going to make a pretty good comparison, I have to say. I think there's a pretty big comparison. And it has to do with Philadelphia. The actual Philadelphia. That's right. We're going to talk about the real Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's move on to the next clip. This is where she gets into the whole audio thing. And she's right. I said this before, and I'll say it again, but let's let her talk first.
Question to ask, was the same thing done for Charlie posthumously? And I want to tell you the reason why we are going to continue to ask this question and why I'm keeping this on our desk now is because it's crucial. It's actually a crucial question. I'm starting to already see the creep of people who are trying to downplay the significance of that moment, right? People pivoting to, well, even if it is AI, why does it matter? I saw this. This is just one example of it, but John Mappin, who is the person who introduced Charlie to actually his biggest donor. Charlie's biggest donor was introduced to him by John Mappin, a donor so big that that donor was first in line on a list of donors who received personal phone calls from the hospital the day that Charlie died. And John Mappin was similarly told, he shared this on X, that a donor who was at that Aspen event said it never happened.
Why would a donor get personal phone calls from the hospital? Isn't that weird? She kind of glossed over that. Isn't that who is that? Who's a big enough donor that they decided we have to call them and tell them about what's happened to Charlie? That's very, very weird. they're big enough donor. So Bob Shillman already stepped away. He was the one who sparked Charlie's group text message, right? So he's like this billionaire guy. He stepped away, American billionaire. He stepped away. Who else was big enough that they were like, we have to let them know what's happened to Charlie? You have his parent. I'm sure his parents know, his family knows. Erika definitely knows, you know. She's with Andrew at the tarmac and they're hugging and doing whatever, you know. Who that's so weird. Cuz that would be in my mind, that would be the last people to call. The donors would be the last people that I would contact. You know? I don't know. Very weird. Very, very weird. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay. It never happened. So this is going around. And when John Mappin shared that information, he was met with a response from Kimberly Klasick. She wrote this question: if the board elected Erika Kirk to be the CEO and none of the donors have come forward questioning the decision, why does it matter? The donors that contacted you are more than capable of contacting Blake, she continued. Okay, so I can answer that. I can answer why it matters. It matters because if it was, in fact, an AI audio and Erika was referring to an AI video clip, which they, in the end, decided not to use, this would tell us exactly who and what Erika Kirk is, okay? It would put to rest any lingering questions that some people may have in the background if we are able to determine that she colluded to create a fake AI voice of her husband, announcing her to take over his company. If she was even emotionally capable of this, a mere weeks after he was horrifically and publicly murdered, if she was capable of then sitting across from Megyn Kelly and spinning a tale about her having seen this video and what it represented to her emotionally, a video which was never recorded because it never occurred, to justify her taking over the company that he built. And if Erika was then able to shamelessly walk out to the sound of a voice of her husband, which she knew was doctored by AI, right? Passing the torch to her. The company is mine at AmFest while she wore glittering pantsuit and had fireworks going on behind her. She knew this was all AI and they planned this moment to make people feel emotional. Then we would have our answer. Erika would be a confirmed ruthless psychopath. Okay. You know, that psychopath brandishing a weapon that Blake's concerned about, that would be Erika. Erika would be the kind of person that if you see on a subway, you should move. If you're
That's incredible. A confirmed ruthless psychopath. That is a very big statement to make. Very, very big statement to make. And, you know, she is right. It would be very crazy if she, like, when you really break down what could have happened, I'm not saying this did, but when you really break down what could have happened with this whole thing, right? From the AI, I think it was something different, but you know, the doctored audio to the surgeon and the statement that the surgeon didn't actually give, and all of these weird things, it would be chilling. You know, I'm making fun of it and it's all funny, but if all of it was real, it would be like, oh, this is crazy. This is nuts. And she's right. She's making the funny thing about the subway, but you wouldn't want to be around people like that. You'd want to steer clear completely. You'd want to be like, okay, I want to stay very far away from these guys because they plot and they plan and they do these wild things. I don't want any part of that. I don't know. It would be, I want to actually find it. I'm trying to find it right now as we speak. I want to find, I don't remember. Quiet, Erika. Quiet while I'm talking, lady. I'm going to try and find it in the transcript while you guys listen. I want to find the point where they actually discuss her taking over the company, because I don't remember that in the Megyn Kelly interview. And I will say, quite honestly, I don't tend to watch full videos of Megyn Kelly. I like Megyn Kelly, but Megyn Kelly with Erika Kirk, I'm not watching that. Okay. Anyway, Let's move on. I'm being polite. I just don't want to watch that. Anyway, let's keep going.
If you're capable of that, because that would mean she was void of any and all human emotion. Capable of, I am being clear, I am not being dramatic. If this turns out to be real, I would assert that she is capable of real harm. She is dangerous. And I would extend that to every person around her who approved that monstrous plan. So that would be Blake Neff, Andrew Colvet. We would be looking at a psychological profile of people that I would suggest are very much capable of cold-blooded murder. Okay, in my opinion, that this is my opinion. I am asserting that if you have the ability to do that, that's not just like, oh, husband died, I wanted to sign some papers and steal a will. It's like, how can we sell this to the public? We can create this AI video. You need to go out and sell this to Megyn Kelly. Say you saw the video, that you were pulled by it, and then you're going to go out and we're going to have Charlie say it, but we can't show the video because the AI tech is not at the right place yet. So it's a little glitchy. So we can't show the video, but like, as long as people hear his voice, they're going to be moved to tears, and then we're going to bring out Nicki Minaj, and this is going to be your moment, baby. So make sure you have all that glitter and sparkles. If she was able to do that, truly take a second here to just consider that in your mind. If we find that out, confirmed, this is AI. What does that signify about Erika? It signifies that she had that meeting, that it took place, and she was able to stomach it. She was able to stomach hearing her husband's voice intentionally manipulated after he was ruthlessly murdered. And she thought, okay, he's dead. What can he do for me? We can use his voice to have him hand over the company so people will not blink and they will not ask questions. There was no reason to do it. Like I said, that's what's even scarier. The only purpose was because she wanted people to accept her moving into his position. And it's becoming increasingly likely that that is the circumstance. It, like I said, would be beyond anything we've ever seen, a real life horror movie if it proves to be true. And I have to say, I do not believe there is any upside to the donors lying to me. I don't see the upside. They loved Charlie. They went there. They gave their money to Charlie. They don't need to be a part of this story. What is the upside for donors to come forward and to say, Candace, keep pressing. This did not happen, and I am certain it did not happen. And it is terrifying me that you're saying that they're out there telling people that this happened in Aspen. So you take your chance. You guys can take your bets on whether you believe Blake Neff and his subway killer scenario as the reason they won't release the video.
Perfect opportunity to pause the video. Yeah, people keep saying stop the oatmeal. Be quiet. Be quiet. Do a ChatGPT and say, if I put protein inside of oatmeal, is it okay? And it will say, yes, it actually is. It's actually quite okay. You have no idea. Listen, and I'll also say this, completely off topic. Okay? My mom's 72 years old. She was a bodybuilder. You know what she does every day? She drinks oatmeal and she eats 7 hard-boiled eggs, sometimes 8, sometimes 12. It's ridiculous, but she's still in the bodybuilder mentality. She's good. She weighs 130 pounds. She can deadlift 200 pounds. Just don't worry about us over here. Okay, big guy. Okay, big guy. Don't worry about us over here. This coffee is really strong. So anyway, and I took vitamin B. I think that was a mistake. It was too much. Anyway, so everything she's saying about Erika. Here's the thing I think about this recording. Does she play the recording? Does she play that recording? I know she does. I just want to hear that recording. I wonder if we can actually catch that recording. Because there is a point where she plays it like 7 times. She plays it a crazy amount of times. Here, let me just see here if she plays this. Battle Bun Colin.
Voice and turn it into a narrator. And that is, by the way, unique. So it is an entirely reasonable question to ask. Was the same thing done for Charlie posthumously? And I want to tell you the reason why we are going to continue to ask this question and why I'm keeping this on our desk now is because it's crucial. It's actually a crucial question. I'm starting to already see the creep of people who are trying to downplay the significance of that moment, right? People pivoting to, well, even if it is AI, why does it matter? I saw this. This is just one example of it, but John Mappin, who is the person who introduced Charlie to actually his
A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
I think this is what I think. I don't think that it's AI. I don't think they put together AI. I don't, you know, I've seen 11 Labs. There's 11 Labs is kind of at the front of things. It's a website where it's called AI voice cloning. You can clone someone's voice. I've used it before. It's not really that great. But one thing it can do is make sentences sound a little bit flowing. That sentence would have to sound flowing. When she plays that part right there, where he says one thing and then he says, you know, Erika would do a great job. I think that's stitched together. I think that if someone actually buckled down and went through all of Charlie's audio, I think you would find someone would find that you would hear Charlie saying all these things that he said in this little clip. That's what I think. I don't think this is hidden. Maybe they're smart enough to not do that. But I bet you if you search long enough, you could find him saying Erika would do a great job. And it will probably not even be pertaining to the running of Turning Point. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like, you know, her being president or something. I don't know. But I bet you can find that little isolated clip in video if you search through Charlie's stuff. Now, I don't know because it has been said that Turning Point has deleted a bunch of stuff from Charlie. But I bet you that's what it is. I bet you it's stitched together because it sounds really good. It sounds really, really good. So I think that's what would YouTube keeps subbing me. Sub again, man. Sub again. Turn on notifications. You know? Sub again. Turn on notifications. And then tell them, send them an email and say, hey, can you please stop unsubscribing me from this channel? That would help. If 1,000 people did that, they'd be like, oh, shoot, they're on to us. And they'd stop doing it probably. But that's what I think. I think it's stitched together. I'm going to play it one more time. One more time. It sounds like it's stitched together. That's what makes the most sense.
A lot of organizations and groups, as soon as a founder leaves, it just kind of collapses. A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
I'm telling you, the way that it cuts off when he says he would appoint her, okay, the way that it cuts off, I'm positive from someone who tells jokes, who's been on stage telling jokes, goes online telling jokes, there is more than likely a laugh break right when he says that, because they're probably talking about something together and someone probably makes some kind of joke and he probably says, I appoint Erika to run turn. Like it sounds like he's joking, and then they cut it. And this is coming from someone. I've done a lot of editing in my time. I've been an editor for years. For years, I've been an editor. It sounds like right at that point, they cut it because there's a laugh. If you listen really close, they cut it right at that point because I think there's a laugh. And then they stitch together. I think Erika will do a great job. That's what I think's going on. I don't think that they made an AI version of it, because if you stitch it together, if someone were to analyze it with AI to say, how much of this do you think is AI? The score would come up lower. I don't know if you know, you can do this. You can like throw it into a program and it will analyze like the percentage of this, like what percentage of this do you think is AI? And the AI will be like 80%. 90% sure this is AI, 95% sure this is AI. That notoriously happened with Biden. One time Biden gave this is actually the same thing. One time Biden gave an audio and I think Kamala played it at some rally. And then people took that audio and they were like, how Like, what are the percentages? What are the odds that this is AI? And it was like 97%, 98%. It was crazy. But if you stitch together actual words, actual voice of him talking, that score will come in a lot lower. Now, I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead, but anyway.
But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
That right there, those are 3 different talks. God forbid if something was going to happen to me, I appoint my wife, Erika. Erika would do a great job. Those are 3 different clips, and they're put together. That's what that is. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think that they threw it into 11 Labs or whatever and did that. I don't think so. I think they just stitched together a bunch of different things. Because then you can actually say, and this is actually a point, then you can actually say, hey, Charlie did say this. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's real. You could say that it's real. If you want to, you say something, you cross your fingers, put them behind your back, whatever. You could say legitimately, that is real audio of Charlie. What are you talking about? This is not AI. You could legitimately say that with a straight face and not be lying. Anyway, I'll play it one more time. One more time. I know. You're like, why? Well, because we're here for 3 hours.
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
Erika would do a great job. It cuts off right because people don't talk like that. This is the thing that everybody caught when it was, that situation I brought up with Biden. Everybody caught that people don't talk that fast. They don't cut themselves off and talk that fast unless they've drank as much coffee as I have.
A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
There's a cut. There's definitely a cut. There's definitely a cut. So, let me just handle this really quick. Unfortunately, they said it was at Aspen's donor meeting, so the stitching theory doesn't work. No, hold on. Are you listening to the episode? Are you watching? Did you watch Candace? Listen. Okay. You got to watch Candace before you come here. I give you the breakdown, but you should still watch Candace. You know what I mean? I give you deeper insight. You still have to watch. She said the donors said that this didn't happen. This person's like, actually, they said it happened at Aspen, actually. So it doesn't work. No, the donor said that this did not happen. This talk, this whole thing that he just said did not happen at all. That's why the donors are so concerned, because it didn't happen. So glad I could help. But you're saying the stitching theory doesn't work. The stitching theory does work because that whole thing didn't happen. So they're just taking it, making it, and then saying this is what was said at Aspen, and we're not showing you the video. Listen. Leave the podcasting to me, okay? Just leave it to me. I got it. I promise you. Anyway, that's actually, but yeah, that's what I think's going on there. And I can say that pretty firmly. Not an expert in a lot of things. But audio, slow it. Someone said slow it down. Are we really going to do this? I'll slow it down. Does YouTube even let me do that anymore? Here, we'll slow it down one time. How slow are we going to make it though? Okay, let's do this one time. We're going to slow it down. 50%. It gets kind of crazy. That's the thing. When you slow things down and there's music, it sounds crazy. Because then the music becomes like, It's pretty crazy. Okay, let's try it one time.
A lot of organizations and groups, as soon as a
Sounds
founder
crazy.
leaves, it just kind of collapses. A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
Just the way it happens, it just doesn't make sense that would be a legit clip. Someone says play it backwards. You play it backwards. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Charlie. Please do something about this. They betrayed me. They all betrayed me. Please. That's weird. That's what happens when you play backwards? That's crazy. You play it backwards, and it's just Mikey McCoy. Hi, this is the majestic Mikey McCoy. My hips don't lie, and neither does my mouth. Please help me. They've done something to Charlie. I can't say anything, or they'll do it to me too. What? That's weird. That's what happens when you play it backwards? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come on, guys. Joking. We move on. I gave that way too much time. Playing it slower. I would play it backwards if I could. If I could play that backwards right now, I would definitely play it backwards. But I can't. Someone said backwards. you play it backwards, all of a sudden it's like, Mama, I just want to let y'all know that when it come to my turning point, y'all, I just want my lady, my beautiful lady Erika to run that thing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, Mama, I'm making a recording right now, Mama. Hold on. I'm just saying, please let her run Turning Point. Bye, y'all. Play it backwards. Stupid. Such a dumb joke. Anyway, let's move on. Where are we at? 15 minutes here. So this is where she starts speaking on the graduation. And I told you we're going to be listening to her acceptance speech. Not all of it, but a little bit.
Anyway, moving on from that, a fun update. Erika Kirk she's now Dr. Erika Kirk. I know she said that she wanted to go home. She says a lot of stuff. She's in drapes. Nobody knows why. She told us that she was going to take some time to be with her family. Then she came in dressed like Janet Jackson. She yelled at me. She yelled at Drewski. She yelled at you for the fact that she had to go confront the wine bottles that were on the table. And then like, I'm taking a break, but then actually now she's not taking a break again. It's a quick break and she's back. She's always back very quickly. And we're probably going to get yelled at again that she had to even go get this speech done for Hillsdale College. Somehow it's always different. Erika can do whatever she wants. And we're just sort of left here holding the bag. She went to Michigan and to Hillsdale College to deliver a commencement address. Okay, it's her prerogative. I think we're all adjusted to this new program of Erika can do whatever she wants. And simultaneously, she accepted a posthumous doctorate degree for Charlie, honorary doctorate, and also an honorary doctorate for herself. And I want to be clear that people that are on the left and have been enduring people on the right saying DEI, people should not be hired on the basis of how they look. They should not receive achievements. It's a regular beat. And I do believe that, by the way. I'm anti-DEI as well. But they're on the internet and they have something to say about it. The internet is saying stands against everything that you guys preached. Why is she getting an honorary doctorate? What has she accomplished? And I'm just going to read one of these tweets. This is written by someone named Brian Allen. I don't know who this is, but they wrote, Hillsdale College, one of America's loudest opponents of DEI, just gave a woman an honorary doctorate and commencement speech opportunity because of who her husband is. That is the definition of DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion for me and not for thee. So conservatives, I hate to call balls and strikes here, but yeah, that's right. That is actually the very definition of DEI. I when people have someone come and give a commencement address, that's usually not the circumstances that you give someone an honorary doctorate for. Fair. I don't mind it. I get it. Like I said, I'm adjusted to this new program that she can do whatever she wants, and they're just going to keep handing her stuff, and she's just going to become more and more accomplished. And people that are calling this out and saying she's not qualified for this, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Virtually, Erika's entire educational background has sort of just been fictionalized. And when people began pointing this out, we got yelled at. This is just par for the Erika course.
Par for the Erika course. I mean, come on, listen. What are we doing here? I think it's fine. Someone said Draica. That's a good name. That's a solid name. Well, what's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. Her husband passed away, and because of that, she now has a doctorate. I mean, what's the big deal? Also something people don't tell you about DEI. DEI doesn't affect Black people the most. You know that? People don't know that. It actually affects white young women the most. Go check it out. Because it's supposed to be, people think it's all just people of color, but it's also youth. It's also your youth. So if there's a lady and she has the experience, but for some reason they're gatekeeping these higher positions, they will push her through because she has, in theory, she should have the experience and everything. So they actually have ran percentages, and that's who it actually benefits the most, oddly enough. And then next would be Black men. And then next it's like everybody else, weird. So this actually does make sense. You know what I mean? This is fine. She's a doctor now. And listen, if you're not going to call her a doctor, you're kind of a bigot. Look how surprised Candace is. She's like, what's going on? She's like, I've made the series. I've told you everything about this lady. And now she's a doctor. What's happening? What is, the main thing that I took away from this, right? I'm going to play that Erika Kirk little acceptance thing. The main thing I took away from this is that it's Hillsdale. I don't know if you guys know about Hillsdale, but for the longest time, Tucker Carlson has always spoke highly of Hillsdale. I might be speaking out of class, but I think even some of his children have gone to this institution and graduated. Tucker Carlson has been a big advocate of Hillsdale for the longest time. They were a sponsor of his for the longest time. They might still be. It's interesting that they could see Tucker's career and everything he's done and go, well, we're not sure. But then to look at Erika and say, well, that's a person that deserves a doctorate. It's a little weird. And I'm not saying, hey, you got to give Tucker one, but it's like the guy's working with you. You're watching him do all this monumental stuff within journalism. You're watching him get fired. You're watching him rise to the top of mainstream. You're watching him get fired. You're watching him rise to the top of independent journalism. You're watching all of this happen within a very short time frame. And at no point in time are you like, this guy deserves a doctorate. But Erika Kirk has been in the position she's been in. What has it been, like 8 months now? 9 months? And right away, they're like, she deserves a doctorate. That doesn't actually make any sense. Just to me. Only because the only reason I know about Hillsdale is because of Tucker Carlson. He used to talk about it all the time. All the time he used to talk about Hillsdale College. Or university, whatever it is. So I found that to be very weird. That's the weirdest part to me. So it's like, it makes you think, and I'm not saying that this is what happened with Erika, but it makes you kind of think, Hollywood stars, not like the guys that get dipped in baby oil. I mean, like the Walk of Fame, like the actual stars on the sidewalk or whatever. When you see one of those, the person who got it, whether it's Snoop Dogg or, I don't know, Eminem, 50 Cent, Suzanne Summers, I don't know, whoever, George Clooney, they have to pay for that star. You know that? They have to pay for it. It's not like a YouTube play button. I don't even know where mine is. It's not like a YouTube play button where you're just like, hey, send it to me. And they're like, sure. You actually have to pay. That whole thing that happens, that's on your dime as the star. Yeah. It's weird. And you don't get to pick where it is. It's weird. You have to pay money for that. It makes me wonder, again, not saying that this happened, but it makes me wonder what the process is for getting one of these doctorates. Because I would think that it's probably something that can be manipulated financially. Not saying that's what happened, but I would think that that's a possibility. I would think if someone donates enough money that eventually, if they were like, how do you get a doctorate? How do you get an honorary doctorate? They might just be like, oh, are you looking for one? I feel like that's a thing that could happen. I don't know. Haven't looked into if Turning Point is, I heard 100K too. Someone said 100K for one of the stars. I heard 100K too. But I've also heard 50K, so I'm not sure. But they do have to pay for it. The whole thing is just, yeah, they pay. So I just wonder, is she able to do that too? Anyway, we're going to play more of that Candace Owens clip, but we are going to play Erika Kirk. I told you we would, okay? So this is not being sprung on you guys, okay? So don't act like that. I told you we were going to play this. Ali Files brings us this clip. 2-minute clip, guys. Maybe we won't even play the whole thing.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Dr. Arn, your beautiful wife, Penny. You guys have been there for me during the darkest moments of my life, so thank you for that. To all of you here, parents, class of 2026, faculty and staff, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to accept the degrees that I'll be receiving later on behalf of myself and Charlie. On a lighter note,
Charlie's getting one too? This is crazy. So is the only reason she's getting one is because they wanted to give one to Charlie? This is getting a little ridiculous because it's more of an accolade. You got to think of it sometimes. It's like an accolade for the person who gets it, but it's also that for the university that gives it to them, right? Like, oh, we have some people we've given, honorary doctorate degrees to. Charlie Kirk, actually. Yes, we have. Kind of cementing themselves in the conservative space because it is a very conservative university.
Yesterday was my wedding anniversary, and I couldn't help but think of a funny story to share with you through obviously a lot of pain, but when we got married and we went to our honeymoon the next day, we decided for our honeymoon that it would be a disconnected honeymoon, meaning no computers, no cell phones, just being able to pour into each other, plan out what our family life would look like, what type of parents we want to be, what type of spouse we want to be, so really just pour into each other. And so again, no phones, but at the time, Charlie's assistant gave Charlie a bat phone for emergencies, so there was only emergency phone numbers on this phone, nothing else. So when we arrive, we go straight to the gym, because that's what we did, and I'm on one side of the gym, Charlie's on the other, and then all of a sudden, I was thinking he pulled out the bat phone. And I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna put on some music. He loved classic rock. I was like, maybe he's gonna put on some music. So I'm on the treadmill, he's over in the weights, and all of a sudden I hear Dr. Arn's voice coming from the side of the room. And so I walk over to him, and I was like, baby, what are you listening to? He goes, I know. He was like, I'm almost done. He's like, I have to finish just a few more lectures from Dr. Arn. I have a few more certificates I have to get from my online courses at Hillsdale. We're almost there. I can't skip him. I was like, baby, you do what you got to do. I'm here for it. But I enjoyed it because I was learning about Churchill too. When he was working out, I was working out. It was a great little bonding moment. But every time Charlie finished a Hillsdale program, he would screenshot the certificate of completion, and he would send them to me every time. I know he would send them to the team as well. I believe he also sent them.
You damn right you better cut off that clip. I was like, this is getting ridiculous. I'm not finding that whole clip. This whole thing sounded like a little bit of an ad. Am I wrong? That sounded a little bit too convenient. It was our wedding anniversary. We had the greatest time. And you know, one thing that Charlie loved to do, he loved to play Hillsdale lectures and get the certificates. That was the one thing he loved to do so much. He would do it in the gym, and we would both sit there and learn about Churchill. Hey, I'm not going to call you a liar, but everybody else is who's going to listen to that. Everybody else who believes that. I'm just saying. This is coming from a guy. I love to do a nice free certification from a college. I've done MIT and I've even stepped into Hillsdale, actually, because they actually have some very interesting courses. But I mean, come on, man. Are you kidding me? And that's the thing you decide to tell? All the things about Charlie, all the things that you could possibly make up, you go with that, you know? I don't know. It just doesn't sound real to me. I don't know how Candace didn't play that. That's crazy. And the one thing that we always loved was Hillsdale's free courses. You can find those courses at hillsdale.com/certifications. And if you put in the name Erika, then you'll get 20% off. They're free, but you'll get 20% off. And if you put in Charlie/Erika, you'll get an extra 50% off. I'm a doctor. You can trust me. What? Hey, what? Friend of the show, Erika Kirk. Friend of the show, you know. I don't know. Seems crazy. Seems crazy to me. I can't believe that. We got to move on. I'm not giving that too much time. I almost went and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should find the whole clip. I don't want to find the whole clip. He even sent them to you, didn't he? Yes? Sent them to you? Pat Sajak, wake up. Wake up. He sent them to you too, right? Yeah. Charlie loves sending screenshots of his certificates to everybody. It's one thing that he would do all the time. Hey, Charlie said college was a scam. Said university was a scam. That's what he really said. Let's be real. Let's be real. What did Charlie really have to say about university? Charlie would say university was a scam. Come on. What are we talking about here? He notoriously said that. They just change everything that he said. The one thing Charlie loved more than anything was college and university. He thought it was the most valuable thing. What? Are you sure? Hold on. Wait, hold on. I thought he said the debt was bad. Wait. Anyway. Erika Kirk, ladies and gentlemen. Erika Kirk. Your new vice president. Erika Kirk, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's move on here. We got Candace Owens discussing Nick Shirley. Oh no, this is 22 minutes. 22 minutes? No, we have Nick Shirley after that. Let's play. Let me play some of this really quick. Let me see where she's at with this.
Okay, so I have been trying to stress to you that we are kind of barreling toward a society of make-believe. It's very scary. Actually, if you just pause for a second and consider it, it's very strange that they're trying to see if they can sort of force us to believe things that are just not so. And they become angry and they become insistent and they spend more money and they're just getting influencers that go out there and I felt this way, by the way, when the transgender thing was happening. I was very vocal against this. It's like there's a difference between a woman and a man, and they just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it's like, you can, wear the clothes that you want to wear and feel how you feel, but there is such a thing as reality. Okay. And now we've moved away from that becoming a social issue. And it was always, obviously political, but we're starting to see this in politics. We're starting to see them. And that, of course, is the example with Dr. Kirk and her entire background, which makes no sense, where the entire world notices that this is what the Erika Kirk story feels like. It feels to me, if you're a conservative, like it felt when we were going through the transgenderism argument.
She's comparing Erika Kirk. This is good. Becoming a doctor to being trans. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. It's a solid joke. It's a solid joke, but that's crazy. I mean, she's like, it's just You can just identify as anything now. She's just pissed. People forget Candace is like a legit conservative. Like they forget she's a Catholic and a conservative. It slips their mind sometimes. She just came with it just now. She's like, you know what this is like? This is like when a guy tells you that it's ma'am instead of sir. This is exactly the same type of thing. Am I wrong here, guy? It's a great comparison. It's a great comparison. Candace is basically just like, if Erika Kirk is a doctor, then I'm a full-blooded man, okay? I want some damn respect, okay, everybody? Oh, man. What a comparison. I love that comparison. I was listening to that last night. I was like, oh, that's a funny comparison. That is a very funny comparison. Charlie loved classic rock? Yeah, I'm sure he did. Someone says, Erika, dude, no. Erika's a doctor. Are you not listening? She's a doctor. I'm not even going to check a doctor in what? I'm not even checking. I'm not doing that. We're not going down this road. I identify as a doctor. And this institution has told me that I am. So it is so. And now when you address me, oh, she's going to be one of those people. Going to be like, and we have Miss Erika Kirk here. She's going to be like, I didn't go to school for the amount of time I did at Hillsdale to be called Miss Erika Kirk. It's actually doctor. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Oh, you're going to see it all the time. You're going to see it on, little, when she does like a speaking event, she's going to be like, guys, it's actually, you got everything good. The headshot's good. That old one from 10 years ago, that's good. But it's actually doctor. And he just put Erika Kirk. Yeah. I don't want to be that person. Can I just have that changed, actually? It's actually doctor. Oh, yeah. She's going to be one of those people. For sure. For sure. You know? And good for her. Good for her. I say good for her. Anyway. Nick Shirley, ladies and gentlemen. Like I told you, Nick Shirley chose violence. He was like, you know what? I'm up early. Let me just look at that. At past midnight, almost at 1 a.m. You know, Nick Shirley was probably in Cuba fighting off those forces. You know, he was ducking and diving. Maybe he was somewhere in Africa, deep in the forest. There's a tiger walking by. He has to stay very quiet. Shh. Shh. I don't even know if there are tigers inside of Africa. I have no idea. Shh. There's a Sherpa with him, and he's like, shh, you must be quiet. The lion and the tiger are going to fight. We must be quiet. Shh. And Nick Shirley's like, okay, no problem. I'll be quiet. And he's like, shh, too loud. What's wrong with you? A lion and a tiger are going to fight. Be quiet. And then Nick was like, you know what? While we're here and I have to be quiet, I'll just send out this text message, just this tweet quickly to Candace. Just want to respond to something. So Candace said this. She said she was addressing some stuff in her episode, as she always does. Today on the show, Nick Shirley decided, hours later, here you go, Candace. Here's the full favela. Is that how you say that? Favela video that you cannot comprehend is real. LOL. Ooh. More dangerous than any of your family reunions, quote unquote. I'd hope. Didn't know you were built so favela-like and dangerous, but respect. Ooh. Nick Shirley not playing around. You know where people's masks tend to fall off is when for some reason they have to attack Candace Owens. I'm just saying that. I'm going to play the Candace Owens clip, but I'm just saying when it becomes weird when all of a sudden someone who has no reason to talk about Candace, I mean, this guy doesn't address anything, but for some reason he has to address Candace. There's no way around it. He must address Candace. He must go on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He must say something about Candace Owens going at him. He doesn't do that with anybody else, but with Candace, he has to. And then when Candace says more, he makes sure to get disrespectful. Not saying he has to have the utmost respect for Candace or anything. I'm not saying that, but it's odd. It's out of character for him to have to do this. It's weird. But he did say it. We'll play a little bit about this. I know Candace mentioned him first. I understand that. I'm saying there are many people who mention Nick first, many people who mention him, many people who talk about him, many people who have said what Candace said, and they don't believe that he actually does the work that he does, and he has not addressed them. But for some reason, has to address Candace. You're not understanding what I'm saying when I say this. This is out of character. And what I said at the beginning of this little blurb here is that you can see when the mask falls, when they have to attack Candace. It didn't make sense when Tim Pool had to do it. It didn't make sense when Balix Tones had to do it. It still doesn't make sense for Gary to be doing it. Yeah, she's mentioned Gary a few times now. Obscure YouTuber. Maybe now it does. But it didn't actually make sense for him to have to address this. You can say she's out of line, but that just proves that you haven't been watching Nick's content. I've been watching Nick Shirley since he had 20,000 subscribers. Like early I've been watching his stuff for the longest time. There are people who have said way worse. And they have big followings. Somebody's saying like, oh, but she has millions of, yeah. There are people who have millions of followers who have talked about Nick Shirley. There are people who do what Nick Shirley does, and they have more followers than him, and they talked about his work. He doesn't address them. You're not getting it. Believe you me, I'm not just freestyling here. I've thought about this. I've been watching him for a long time. When I tell you guys about somebody, I am talking about their behavior because I'm watching their behavior the whole time. I'm watching what's going on. Watching very, very closely. This has happened before. Millions of viewers said something that was considered out of line. This has happened to him before many times, and he has said nothing. So just you got to think about that. And again, that's to this person here saying it hits different. Why does it hit different? There have been people, someone actually has more subscribers than Candace and has said stuff about Nick's work. More. There are people who have said wild things about Nick, and he's had nothing to say back to them at all. Anyway, let's get into this a little bit. We'll play the Candace clip here, and then we'll get into this whole thing. Could he be a plant? Could he not be a plant? I think there's two ways to look at it. Yeah, you know, somebody brings up a great point. That's a good point. You know, he's CIA adjacent because he's connected to the church. That is true. That is a true thing. He is connected to that church. I don't think that that's the reason. I'll give different reasons, but I understand why people think that about him. I understand completely. Let's get into this.
He's being created by the media. There are a lot of people that are like that. I would say Barry Weiss is a perfect example. Like, we all know she's not qualified to be an executive at CBS. They just don't care. They're just, there you go, Barry Weiss. And this Nick Shirley thing is one of the weirdest non-beefs that I have ever had. So I'm going to back up here and say, I did not follow at all the quote unquote rise of Nick Shirley. He's 24 years old. It was, if I recall, like very quickly after the Charlie Kirk assassination. He was sort of introduced first on the Charlie Kirk show on the day he died. Remember, we covered that. That's the reason I covered him on the show on September 10th when I was trying to work through timelines and I made a mistake. And I completely owned that mistake and had a conversation with him. Right after the Charlie Kirk assassination, suddenly I was not emotionally available to look at other topics, to cover other topics. I'm not interested in other trends. And suddenly we have this kid, 23 years old, I think he was last year. And they say Nick Shirley has uncovered massive welfare fraud in the Somalian community in Minnesota. Okay, a friend of mine just got shot in the neck. Don't really care to follow the story. Daycare fraud. Great, thumbs up. Did not peek beyond that at all. I want to be perfectly clear here. I did not watch or read even 1 minute of what he uncovered. So color me completely ignorant of the welfare fraud story in Somalia. Just
listen, out of everything she said, that was the most disrespectful thing. Had no idea what was going on in Somalia. She was like, I don't know. I watched part of the video. He was walking around Somalia. There was a Laring Center or something like that. That was Minnesota. No, it couldn't have been Minnesota because it was all Somalian people. I don't understand what you're saying. It was clearly Somalia that he was in. I mean, I know that much. I could tell. I mean, every person he ran into was Somalian. No. You have to understand. That was Minnesota. That's what Minnesota looks like. She's like, listen, I watched the clip. I saw it was clearly Somalia. I had no idea what was going on in Somalia. if somebody watches a video that's filmed in Minnesota, they instantly think it's Somalia. She's like, well, whatever, bro. You were in Somalia. I was in Minnesota. Oh, whatever. I was watching a different video. I didn't see your Minnesota video. Oh my gosh. And it was some great work in Minnesota, man. I liked what he was showing because I know stuff like that goes on. I know that happens a lot, that type of thing. I'll get into that after. Let's switch back. That was hilarious, though.
Being honest with you, I didn't have it in me then, and I just truly did not care. Okay. So then fast forward to me mentioning Nick Shirley on the show, and I was like, okay, who is this guy? And I was quite stunned that there was this video out there of him saying that he like infiltrated the most dangerous gang in Brazil in 48 hours. Like, that's so objectively stupid and ignorant. You have to be so ignorant to even believe it. That should just be a headline that your brain automatically rejects, right? A 23-year-old kid, absent any connections, infiltrated a gang in 48 hours is like, they are trying you right now. They're not even trying to give us like good slop anymore. Like, we're beneath the level of Fed slop with this, right? It's just stupid. It's nothing personal to Nick Shirley. It's just dumb when you hear it, that a person infiltrate a 23-year-old kid, and I did say a white boy for a reason, which I will explain, infiltrated the most dangerous gang in Brazil by himself with cameras. Okay. Anyway, Nick Shirley, after I said this on my show, the next day it was like trending, and all of these people, the people I trust the least, by the way, I mean, like Tim Pool, everyone's like writing these statements like Nick Shirley got punched in the face by me, because I'm not an idiot. I don't have to look deeper into that story. It's obviously objectively on its face untrue and made up. I don't know if it's for entertainment. I don't know if it's for funsies. I don't know the purpose of making up something like that. I've just lived a little bit of life and know that that's not how it works. And so PBD, who has just been sort of taking swipes at me for like since Charlie Kirk died, you know, he notoriously hosted the person who said, I didn't speak to Charlie since, 2019. We hadn't spoken. We were at war with each other, whatever. I don't care. It's just add it to.
So as she talks about this, that is a very true thing. That when she did say this, she just said on its face, it's just ridiculous. And I can't believe like people are believing this, et cetera, et cetera. But again, if you pay attention, all the same people activated, right? The Graham Allens, the Garys. I don't think Gary's talked about it. The Graham Allen, Tim Pool, all these same people who keep activating when she says things. They all activated. Now you could say, and this is the way things work, you could say that, well, they all like Nick and that's why they're doing that, right? The same way they all really loved Erika, right? You have to keep your thinking congruent, right? When you see them activate one time, you go, oh, that's kind of weird. You see them all activate another time and you go, oh man, this seems coordinated. And you see them activate another time, you go, no, that's Nick Shirley. You have to think about it. And I like Nick. I like what Nick does, and I like that he's standing up for himself a little more now. He like before he used to just be like, okay, like get away from me. Now he's like, get out of my face. He's like, yeah, leave me alone. Like now he's actually like, me and my wife both had that thing where like he doesn't stand up for himself. Now he tends to stand up for himself, so the videos are pretty cool. But it is interesting when those people activate. You have to pay attention to when that happens.
The pile of people who are constantly just making little snide comments on me. But Nick PBD, who was one of the people who issued a kind statement about Nick Shirley because, gasp, Candace doesn't believe that he infiltrated a gang in 48 hours, hosted him on his show. And they show the clip of what I said, and PBD's pretending he had no idea. He completely already knew I said this. Even the whole little scene you're going to watch between them is just so contrived. It just bothers me on a level of, why do we have to live in this soap opera? Why are we all sim characters? Who is pulling the strings? Anyway, I want you to listen to this conversation that they have.
Who in the market is supporting you? Who in the market is criticizing you that you're surprised?
This is very interesting. Because if you look at Nick Shirley as a whole, there are not many, there are people who criticize him, right? There's a bunch of people. You think that he would mention the people who are actually doing what he does, because that would be a little more insulting. If someone doesn't understand, let's say everything he does is 100% real and just all him doing his thing. So if people don't understand, that's one thing. When people actually do what he does, they travel from place to place, and they're like, why is it that when I go and cover something, I get completely thrown off every platform? When you do it, it's completely fine. He doesn't address that, because that's a pretty big criticism. That happened recently, and it's true. But at the same time, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So he decides that the person that he has to address is Candace. Now, when you're watching this, don't be a sim. Watch their faces. Okay. Now, again, I like to actually go back and I watch a lot of stuff. So watch how Nick is reacting. Watch Patrick's face as he's talking about this. Very weird.
On the conservative side, are there people who are like, Nick, go, you're doing great, and then there's people that
What is going on with him right now? I've never seen Patrick being like, I've never seen this weird type of reaction from Patrick.
are like, yeah, I don't know if I like what he's doing?
Candace Owens came after me a while back. That was very interesting.
Why would Candace Owens come after you?
I don't know. She like didn't believe my Brazilian favela video, and
Oh, it's not even so you're talking, this is a couple years ago.
no,
not
this
recent.
is like recent. She's like, white boy. I'm like, it was very like snarky of her to do this.
Interesting.
So one thing that they do not do at the Patrick Bet David podcast, this is one thing they don't do. They don't do the impromptu pull that up. What is it? Huh? They don't do that. They have a whole bunch of clips that have already been prepped. So it's like when Patrick says, pull up that clip about that, we're talking about this, you have that clip ready? Let's play that clip. Oh, that's not the one that I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, that's it. Perfect. That's what they do. They don't do the whole, well, just pull it up randomly. I don't know. They don't do that because Patrick doesn't play around with dead air and stuff like that. He's very serious about his podcast. No matter what you think of him, he's very serious about his product, about his podcast. They don't do the whole, let's just pull this up randomly. And they're trying to make this seem like this is a random occurrence. That's what they're trying to do, right? But now Nick is actually looking at somebody. Patrick is looking at the same person. And then magically the person has the exact clip that they're talking about.
This is it?
And it's not pulled. Notice something.
Yeah.
Notice something. Okay.
Candace Owens come after you.
I don't know. She like didn't believe my Brazilian favela video, and
Oh, it's not even so you're talking, this is a couple years ago.
no,
not
this
recent.
is like recent. She's like, white boy. I'm like, it was very like snarky of her to do this.
Interesting. This is it?
Yeah.
But which
So
video is
stupid.
that? Is that a recent video?
From last summer.
I'm just gonna say I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. I just it's so stupid. I'm not even gonna tell you what.
Notice something, right? Someone says, why is he smirking? Maybe he's nervous. I don't know. I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking at the clip. Now, if I pull up something impromptu, this is what you'll see. You'll see this. Why? Because I have to go to X to find it. Because for me to go to YouTube and find a clip in 5 seconds to find the podcast and then actually find within the 1 hour the clip that I'm looking for is way too hard. It's way, way, way too hard. I've been doing this for a long time. They got this clip. They have this clip ready. If it was on X, I'd be like, well, they found it on X. They typed in Candace Owens, Nick Shirley, and they found it. This clip is straight from YouTube. And it's not even from YouTube because sorry. And it's not even from YouTube because you're not seeing any of this. Where is this? Where is the name? Where is the timeline bar? Where is all this stuff? None of that? That's interesting. It's very, very quick. Very quick.
I believe it's like if you don't know that that's stupid, that he infiltrated the gang in 48 hours. It's just that's so dumb. I'm so tired of dumb. That's not how that works. Okay, you don't just go up to gangs on the street as a nice looking white boy with a camera and say, "Hey, I just wanted to sort of like see what you're doing here. What's going on?" Okay, that's just stop. That's stupid. Of course, that's dumb. I'm sorry, Nick. I know you're young. I hope, you know, whoever is your contact that has you infiltrating Antifa and infiltrating El Salvador at the age of 23 years old. It just feels like Sean Penn young to me.
Meaning
Like-
your handler or you're representing somebody?
Like she's basically saying that's fake.
She's saying
Yeah.
that's fake.
And I'm like, well, maybe if these podcasters would actually leave their podcast studios, no offense, Pat, they leave their podcast studios and go and like do journalism, like they'd actually see like stuff just sometimes just happens.
It was that last part that really sent me because it's just so LOL. And then this whole like, oh, why don't you try to do real journalism and like leave your basement from podcasting? Alex Clark kind of backed this up too, because like she can't miss an opportunity. Turning Point can't miss an opportunity because I think I took from them what they believe is rightfully theirs. But she wrote this: Nick Shirley is a real journalist. Candace Owens is not. Oh, okay. So we're in a podcast. We're in the basement. Hey, Nick. So the reason why we know that that doesn't make sense actually is because you have to be the most sheltered person in the world to even have to need it to be explained to you why that's not plausible. Okay. It's not a job. Okay. People just live in these scenarios. People like literally, I have five-year-olds in my family who have seen more and lived through more than you've probably ever lived through in your life. This
The disrespect. This gets hilarious. But I that whole thing just seemed very put together. Just to me. I'm not even talking about his work in general, but that clip with Patrick, that seemed very put together, right? Now, if you love Nick, is there a possibility that Patrick just put him in that situation and just did that to him? Said, hey, who's been criticizing you lately? Oh, we have the clip. Oh. So this is from a few years ago, right? Patrick's not dumb like that. Listen, you can say what you want about Patrick. He's not dumb like that. When he says recently to somebody, he's a business guy. He's an operator. That's the thing about him. He's an operator. You may not like how he made his money, but he is an operator. So when he goes, oh, this is from a few years ago, he's not dumb like that. That doesn't happen with Patrick. If he asks you about something recently and you say a thing, he goes, oh, well, this was recently because that's what I asked you. And I'm a CEO and I'm worth $500 million. So you're definitely not wasting my time giving me an answer that I didn't ask, answering a question that I didn't ask of you. You're definitely answering my question. That's what I have to say about that, and then Candace gets into the whole thing about how Nick Shirley, she has family reunions that he couldn't infiltrate. Just the whole thing is actually very, very funny. But yeah, I do understand where people are coming from, right? I like how most people who like are screaming about like, hey man, hey, Nick Shirley. I love Nick Shirley. I've been watching Nick Shirley way longer than you have. Way longer. And he followed me, actually. Follows me on Instagram. Oh, you didn't realize that, eh? You didn't realize that, huh? I don't know why. I have no idea why. I guess he saw some of my stuff. I'm conservative, right? So he probably just follows. Or he likes what I do. I have no idea. I don't even post that much on Instagram, so it's interesting that he follows me. But people in the chat are funny. Someone's just like, hey, can you leave? To somebody else. Don't worry. Okay, there you go. I'll handle it. There you go. Your wish has been granted. There you go. But Nick Shirley's stuff, I mean, you got to really decide for yourself. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he does have this episode. This is the episode that she's talking about. He does infiltrate this gang. Right? He does have a person. He's with this guy. This guy's like, oh, these gangsters, you can't film. I think this is the part where they're like, you can't film in here.
Sorry, Nick, from here you cannot make video.
Why can't we film inside these?
Because of the gangsters, unfortunately.
The gangs are inside of these alleyways.
You cannot film and make videos or photo.
So we got to take the camera down in order to go deeper inside, but I'll be bringing it back out in just a moment. Can I film in here?
No, never.
No?
Never.
How come?
Don't put me in trouble, bro, please.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of gangsters, and don't do that. Otherwise, they will take you to the top of the favela and they will stay there.
Really?
Yes.
As we were walking in the alleyway, we came across two gang members with tables just like these, selling everything illegal you could think of in the middle of this alleyway. We made it out of the alleyway and headed into one of the homes.
All right, now we're going inside of one of the houses here.
Big podcast, the sweetest dog ever.
I want to show you guys how crazy these alleyways are. I mean, just so much.
about the life of favela rappers, subscribe to the channel for an upcoming video with Brazil's most famous funk rappers. And I knew we were in a different territory when I asked a kid if he'd rather be a rapper or a football player, and this is what he said. Are there more kids that want to become MACs or football players now with the rise of funk music here in the favelas?
Pô, aí é difícil. Porque é muita coisa. Muitas crianças querem ser muita coisa. Que é uns que quer como, né?
You gotta be actual soldier, you know.
What's the name of the gang inside of this favela?
Over here is the Red Command, Comando Vermelho, you know. Be honest with you, man, favela is a concept of beauty, you know. A lot of people, the media from Brazil, when they speak about favela, they really put us down. But you know why? Because they fear us. Because, man, we live on the top of the mountains with this beautiful view. The people in the city, they pay high taxes. Some of them, they're not even happy, man, you know.
In a sense, like the gangs also, like...
Stay tuned, for real. It's about to be something real different than everything you already saw in your life. Stay tuned, for real.
This is the realness of the favela.
No, this is the real shit. This is the real shit. And we don't do this. We don't do this. We are doing because they accept it.
Where we're going, is it dangerous?
Yeah, it is. It is. That's why we can't film. Because they're part of the favela.
Aí, entendeu? E aí, quer falar alguma coisa?
Want me to translate?
Yeah, what do you say?
So, for example, in the beginning, he said that for the police over here, there's no...
See, now you're at a point where, you know, I was just kind of taking it through, but it's like he's at a point with one guy, he can't film. He's trying to figure out what he could do. He sits down with the rappers. He getting to know the life, talking to young people, older people, meets this guy. This guy says, hey, you're going to get into the real. Now they meet this guy, and this guy's telling him the whole thing about the gangsters and how the whole life works. You could look at that two ways. You could look at that and go, this is what I used to think. Okay. And you know me, I will always tell you when I get hoodwinked, I talk about it all the time. I used to love Vice. I used to love Vice Media. I used to love it. I wanted to work with Vice. I used to look up the offices so I could actually go there and apply. I loved Vice so much. Now, did Vice used to do stuff like this? Yes. Did they have videos like this? Like Nick Shirley is doing what Vice was doing 15 years ago, you know, maybe even 20 years ago, like a long time ago. Yeah, Vice is the reason I first picked up a camera. You know, I wanted to do what you see on Vice. But then you started learning that Vice isn't exactly doctored, but the situations they would be in were not like completely scripted and rehearsed, but definitely planned out. And even with some other outlets, maybe not Vice, it was discovered that when people would meet with quote unquote gangsters, sometimes the outlets would claim they were lied to. And this guy said he was a gangster and he gave us this whole breakdown and his face was covered up, but he wasn't really a gangster. Sometimes it was just outright like, oh, you could just see that, hey, this outlet is 100% lying. The whole thing that they put together was a lie. Now, it depends how you feel about Nick. You could look at him and say, oh, man, Vice was super fake towards the end. Yeah. You know, and towards the end means like, towards the end, you understood what was going on, but there was a point where it seemed really real, but it actually wasn't quite as real as what you thought. They were manipulating narratives. They seemed like they were just this young, rambunctious group with this wild CEO, but in reality, they were all very left-leaning. So the narratives they would push out were very left-leaning. So there were things they would leave out. There were situations that they would get into or not get into. There was a whole bunch to it. Now, what do you think about Nick? I think that it's possible to have this happen, right? But also, you know, he was warned that he'll be killed pretty much, or he'll have to stay there, you know, if he ends up filming. Now he's openly filming. It's just, and then you go with the whole plant thing. Now you have to understand, like, the people that you love the most could be plants. Well, I'm not saying Rogan is, but I mean, so many of you say that, right? And you have your reasons for saying that. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Now with me, I look at this and I go, okay, this is what I really do. And this is how you watch Nick. Again, you have to watch somebody for a long time. How long did it take for people to catch on to what Ben Shapiro was about? right? There was 2016, 27, it was 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019, 2020. We were like, oh, that Ben Shapiro's acting very odd towards this whole thing going on right now. 2021, 2022, we were like, what the heck's going on with this Ben Shapiro guy? 2023, we were like, I don't even listen to Ben Shapiro. 2026, we're like, get out of here, man. We know what you're about. Get out. It takes a long time to figure people out. Nick hasn't been doing this as long as a bunch of other people have. But one thing I do notice, and this will tell me, this will make me go, oh, he's 100% real. When he does something that is directly against the current administration, when he does something or finds something that is directly against what the current administration wants. When it was the Biden administration, he found all sorts of things that pushed against the Biden administration and the left. Now that this administration is in, he's found nothing about this administration. Weird. Okay. Nothing to speak about in regards to this administration. And when the president goes, hey, California has a bunch of fraud, Nick goes, well, I'm going to California to find the fraud. When the president goes, man, Tim Walz, I don't like that Tim Walz. And what's going on in Minnesota is no good. He goes, I'm going over to Minnesota. When the president says, Cuba's about to fall, that Cuba, someone needs to look into that Cuba, he goes, I'm going over to Cuba. You got to think about that. Like, I get it. You like the guy, but you got to think about that. Every time there's a place that needs to get examined, that the administration is saying that place, he's the first one over there. And he's showing you the real of what's going on in that place. I don't know. The thing, like I said, when I see him do something that, and he sat down with the president, he's been alone with the president. I'll find the clip of him talking about Adam or talking with Adam in a second. You can tell me what that is. I've shown this clip before. I'm going to try and find it on X. But because I just remembered that clip exists. But when I see him push against the administration, that will tell me, oh, this guy's really real, because he's doing something that goes directly against. That's what, so many people, when Ian first hit the stage of X, and he was moving into TikTok and he was showing the ownership of places, so many people were like, oh, this guy just popped up and he has 500,000 the Twitter subscribers and followers, and now he's on YouTube and he's blowing up. People are like, this guy's suspect. But you don't see this guy. This guy doesn't go with the left narrative. He doesn't go with the right narrative. He goes deep into things. He risks it all by talking about certain subjects. After years of watching him, you can go, oh, this guy's real. This guy's real. Walks away for a period of time, doesn't care about the money, comes back when he wants to come back, and he has everything to say about what's going on. And everything that people don't really want to touch or talk about super openly, he's like, let's go. That kind of shows me that this guy's real. I came to that determination before he even mentioned me. You have to really look at people. What do they push? What do they push against? Ian pushes against everything. All I've seen is Nick kind of be a bulldog for the administration, right? You could say a propagandic arm. Now, I know some people would have a little trouble understanding this, but you could say that the same way you used to see MSNBC activate for the Biden administration, you see him activate for the Trump administration. I know that sucks if you like somebody, but and people, somebody's saying easily deceived. LDS members are easily deceived. They're naive. That's true too. It's very hard to tell. It's very hard to tell what's going on with them. But, I get why Candace is saying that, because a lot of it doesn't seem quite factual. Now, I did go a little deeper into the whole Nick thing because, I found this to be interesting. This is another point that I have to make. Okay. So this is just in his posts, which is fine. He's like, I was taken hostage in Cuba. I've been wanting to go to Cuba for the past year and make a video showing the life in communism. And as communism and socialism are becoming popular in America, as soon as I arrived, all my cameras and gear were taken, and I was left with my phone and a small microphone. I have to say, I've been to Cuba many times. They've never done that to me. I don't know. That's never happened to me. And I'm talking about when I go to Cuba, I have a large metal device in my I have a 3-foot metal device inside my suitcase that's just like diagonal. And they don't take anything from me. I come with computers and wires and all sorts of things that they probably have no idea what they are, and they never take anything from me. They let me keep everything. Just putting it out there. But that's the thing. A lot of people in America don't go to Cuba. They don't go to Cuba. They don't check out certain places of the world. So he can say this to certain people and they just go, yep, that makes sense. I'm not saying Cuba's like this great place. I'm just saying when I go there, I never get anything taken away from me. Under communism, there's no freedom of speech. And this is true. I've heard this firsthand. My good friend, one of my best friends, his wife is Cuban. She can speak to this. She talks about this. People on street corners that are walking by houses because the houses have no windows. They're very much like where my family's from in Barbados. It's like a farmy type of thing where it's like there's no windows. It's a different concept when it comes to houses. It's hot all the time. You don't really need windows. Lizards crawl in and out of your house. No one really cares. It's weird. But they have these people. They're like police officers, but most of the time they're plain clothes, and they'll listen into your house, hear what you're talking about. And if you're talking about the government negatively, they will notify someone and they'll come and take you straight up. You know, there's a lot to it. So I'm definitely not saying what he's saying is all wrong, but I did find this, right? Going through all this, he was talking about getting taken hostage. He's showing this whole thing. I can back this up too. I get it. You know, definitely. But then he was like, this place is so sad. And that got to me. You know why that got to me? Do you know why that got to me? Tim Pool came from Vice. Yup. Oh yeah. Your boy was hoodwinked. Oh, you have no idea how much I used to love Tim Pool. I was like, this guy is going to train an army of guerrilla journalists. I'm like, what this guy does is incredible. Oh yeah. Tim Pool had me. He had me, boy. Oh, goodness gracious. I was like, this guy's the best ever. And I'm like, and I think he's bald just like me. I'm like, oh, this guy's fantastic. I really did. I was like, he's bald. I was like, I'm bald too. I know what this guy's about, you know? But this is why this was kind of odd to me. This whole thing is kind of odd to me, right? He's saying, yeah, the place is very sad. And it is. You know, when me and my wife go there, we take a suitcase that's filled with toiletries so we can just give it to people because the people need this, right? They need this stuff. But also, he's talking about like getting off your butt and doing journalism, which I can appreciate too. But it's like, I can't even show you this one. I'll show you this one here. This is the one I can actually show you, you know? But this place is pretty sad too. And it's like that for blocks and blocks and blocks. Person after person. Time after time. And these are not Brazilians. These are not Canadians. These are not people from Spain or Russia. These are Americans. This is Kensington, Philadelphia. This goes on time and time and time again. This is Kensington. This right here is a known block of Kensington. A lot of videos that you'll watch on Kensington, you'll always see this blue bridge. And the ground is riddled with needles. It's riddled with needles. It is an open air drug market. It's just like this 24/7. This person's not catching anything new. This isn't crazy. This is just what it is. And the ones that I can't show you, I can describe it. There are people walking around with sores that look like slices of pizza. I'm not kidding. It looks like the guy just has a slice of cheese pizza just built into his arm. It's crazy. Guys lose limbs. It's like a war zone. It's insane. And then I have a friend who actually has a friend, and I've wanted to interview him for a while. I haven't been able to get a hold of him because he's so busy dealing with all that. But he talks about how the state level government won't do anything. And in fact, tries to hinder him when he's trying to do things, when he's trying to give out food and clothes and everything like that. Minnesota, there's definitely a problem. California, there's definitely a problem. It's not it's Fent. Somebody's asking if it's H or it's Fent. It's Fent and it's mixed with something else and they call it Trank. Trank is what makes your limbs fall off. Fent is what just kills you over time. So there's problems in those other places that Nick has hit up. But if he's actually that real person who goes from place to place, why isn't he there all the time? Not only that, if you're figuring out fraud, why not go over there and figure out why there is a state level government allowing this to be happening to Americans in their state? Gavin's bad. People don't like Gavin. But what about the person that runs this place? Why can't they stop this? Why have more people who are YouTubers been to this place than you see the governor walking, or the governor of walking around that place, the mayor walking around that place? It's crazy. So yes, I agree. This place is so sad. But why are you in Cuba? And again, I know that there's problems in Cuba. I know it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand. And I have somebody who's from there who's a very, very close friend. One of my best friends. And his wife is incredible. And she fought her way out of that whole thing, and still has family there. Has an uncle in jail because he was found with beef. You're not allowed to have beef as just like a regular person. You can't just have it, because it means you killed a cow. And if you killed a cow, then they put you in jail. So he's in jail. I think he's serving like 5 years. It's crazy. But that's America. You were just in America. Why aren't you figuring out what's going on there? Why is it that where Trump points to, that's where you go? Where he says that place is going to fall or this needs to get looked into, you go there, but you don't go here. It's weird. Just weird. I really want to show you guys more when it comes to this whole thing, but I mean, there's only so much. I've tried to make videos about this place before, and they just I don't know how else to say it. They just don't like it when you make videos about this place. It's weird. It's very weird. But there's so much. There's so much. Guys explaining what's happening, what's gonna happen, and it's like this for blocks. Blocks and blocks and blocks. It's like this,
Damn.
It's like that for blocks and blocks and blocks. It's crazy. It's just nuts. And that is why I like to call that other place in the Middle East Philadelphia. That was what came to mind when I decided to call it Philadelphia, because of Kensington, Philadelphia. Because I feel like not enough people know about Kensington, Philadelphia. Yeah, it's just wild. Just type it in. Just type in Kensington, Philadelphia. How much you'll see. How much you'll see. It's wild. So, I only say that. I only say that because it's like, why isn't he going over there? He's not going to check that place out. He's checking out Cuba because they need liberation. Like, you can point and do the Ben Shapiro thing, because I've always hated that Ben Shapiro would say this. He'd go, oh, these people did this to themselves. They do this to themselves, so let's not focus on them. It's not true. It's not true. Someone's doing it to them. Someone's allowing it. It's like this everywhere. I don't even know what I can show you. Certain things will pop up. It's crazy.
On the street 6 years compared to now?
It's gotten a lot worse.
A lot worse.
I say the past 2 years, like since the pandemic, it's been crazy out here with the shootings and now there's like serial rapists out here. Supposedly, they had the massacre shooting not that long ago. The 9 people got shot. I mean, people just randomly are shooting, like, during the day, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy.
Wow.
And they don't care. My girlfriend just got killed at the park, like, 4th of July weekend. She got hit by a stray bullet. She was just getting her apartment and going to rehab, like, the next day, her and her boyfriend, and she got hit, 1 bullet killed her. So I've lost a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of people have died.
It's just a wild place. It's just a wild place, man. A lot of wild stuff going on there. A lot of wild stuff going on, you know. Anyway, it just makes me think, you know, that was the whole point of me bringing this up. It's like you're over in Cuba and you're like, this place is so sad. And it's almost like, you know, you're trying to make a little bit of propaganda. And again, not to say that Cuba is not in a bad place. It is 100% it is. But it would have been quicker for you to get over to Kensington. And if you solved what was going on there, like you did in Minnesota, the amount of lives you could change is crazy. I don't know. Anyway, what do I know? I stay in my studio all day, like he said, you know. Someone said, take care of your home first. Yeah. It's right there. And it's very open. And you can film. There's no guy who's going to be like, oh, my friend, you can't, no, you cannot film here. Nope. You can film everywhere there. And you can ask the state level government what's going on. You know? See, this is exactly the thing that I hate. This is exactly what Ben Shapiro says. This is exactly what Ben Shapiro says. Kensington does it by choice. There's no choice in Cuba. What are you talking about? Here's why you're wrong. Because you're saying there's no choice in Cuba. There is a choice. The government has a choice in Cuba of how it operates. There is a choice in Kensington. The government has an option. They have the say-so of what happens in Kensington. They could say no more of this in Kensington. They could do that. They could actively do that. Gavin Newsom put $20 billion into homelessness. How much have they put into this situation in Kensington? Go check it out. It ain't 20 billion. You don't know what you're talking about, man. When you're taking a stance like Ben Shapiro, you need to check yourself, buddy. Just saying. Anyway, there's more stuff. That was funny, right? You know, they were like this. Oh, they're meant to. Oh, it's funny, right? A little bit. Yeah, we try to, you know. But yeah, Gov just steals. Who knows? Yeah, nothing happened with the 20 billion into homelessness, but they were able to achieve it. And if they're able to actually achieve it, that means it's a possibility. You know? No one knows where the money went. Yeah. Gavin doesn't even know where the money went. He was like, yeah, we're not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. At least give Kensington the chance. Or maybe there's somebody there not willing to have a chance be given to those people. I don't know. But if Nick could find out what's going on in Minnesota, right? He is the one who does the real journalism. I don't want to get in the way. But if he's able to do that in Minnesota, he's able to go to California. He's able to go to Cuba. Imagine what he could do for Kensington. But I guess what's going on there is that Trump actually has to point to Kensington. And I don't know if you've ever even heard if you've heard a politician even mention Kensington, Philadelphia before. Think about it. Anyway, guys, let's get back into the fun stuff. Your opening statement from your humble host, from your very, very humble host, his opening statement. Check this out.
Utah County, which said he was arrested on September 11th at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis. But I got trolls saying that he was arrested on 9/12. He arrived at the sheriff's office at 9 p.m. on the 11th, but wasn't officially in custody until the 12th. That's weird because, again, I showed you the Utah County arrest statement that says he was arrested by Brian Davis at 10 p.m. on the 11th. And I've said this many times. I said it on my show. I showed the documents on the show. I've said it over and over on X. I've said it publicly. I've said it privately. I've said it to people who call me. I've said it on text message. I've said it on the cell phone. I've stood on my front porch and screamed at little kids running by on scooters. He was arrested on the 10th, 11th, whatever. I've chased squirrels out of the yard yelling at them that he was arrested on the 11th at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis. I knocked down an elderly handicapped man on a walker to jump on top of him and tell him the arrest record says he was arrested at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis on the 10th, on the 11th, excuse me. But these Fed sloppers don't care. They don't let facts get in the way because the consequences, ladies and gentlemen, the consequences of Tyler Robinson being arrested on September 11th at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis, the consequences of Tyler Robinson being in custody in Washington County, being Mirandized at 6:25 p.m., the consequences are not just that morons like Gary Melton would have egg on their face. That's not the problem. You'd think a lawyer would know this. Oh, I do. I do. He also knows his viewers are too gullible to check after his grift or slop. No, I'm going to go through it step by step, and you're going to agree with me tonight. The consequences to their lies are that there is a coordinated multi-agency cover-up to frame Tyler Robinson. That's the consequence. That's why they're digging in their heels. That's why they refuse to accept reality.
These opening statements are getting kind of crazy, huh? Baron's running around Tennessee like George, just knocking people down, pulling out firearms, just like Yosemite Sam shooting in the air. I'm just kidding. It's so ridiculous. Oh, man. And, Coach showed the Adam video. Oh, I forgot about that video. I'll have to find it. I will show it, though. I'll have to find it. But getting into what Baron was talking about there, Baron did have this episode where he's confirming what's going on, and he is dealing with these trolls. And it's funny because when he talks about trolls, he's actually just talking about Gary. Candace calls him an obscure YouTuber. Baron is calling him a troll. Just disrespect towards Gary. A friend of the show, descendant of a Kandahar giant. He's a special man. Half man, I heard. He's descendant. Kandahar giant. That's what I heard. Can't make heads or tails of it. They say that's why his head's so long. So don't want to be on his bad side, you know? But then another clip of Baron talking about this whole thing. And then he has a timeline. And there's some parts in this timeline. This timeline keeps getting updated of what happened with Charlie. And there's a part of this timeline where I'm like, I didn't know this at all. I had no idea. So we'll have to look at that. But let's start with this clip. And shout out to Blue Lioness for throwing me these timestamps. Really appreciate it. Great impression, and then sums up what he's saying in this episode. That's what we're looking at right now. And yes, I'm going to remember to show you the clip. Let's go.
September 11th. That's going to be devastating if that comes out in court. All these podcasters, all these mainstream media people who are just convinced, you know, they'll talk about the case. I played Allie Beth Snuffy the other day, and Stuffy, whatever her name is, and she had to make a comment about, well, I understand why people ask the question. Now, I believe he's 100% guilty. Actually, she said it more like this. I believe he's 100% guilty. Okay. Why? If you take all these people who believe he's 100% guilty, and then in open court, it comes out that he was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. and they've been lying to you this whole time. And then he's supposedly grabbed a phone and started pumping out Discord confessions an hour and a half later, people are going to have real questions. So I think the state's getting out ahead of this by putting this roadmap out today and say, hey, bait stamp 3996, the one you guys were talking about a month ago, that bait stamp was from September 11th. That took place in Washington County. We're not hiding this. I mean, they did everything except highlight it in yellow, draw an arrow, and write a note in the margin. I'm embarrassed. I missed it the first time. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that it took me going back through these documents. It took me going back through this again to say, have I missed anything? Is there anything at all I've missed? To go and start comparing the bait stamp numbers. I don't know why I didn't do that when this document came out and we talked about it last week. I got so caught up on the fact that grandma and grandpa and mom and dad were not testifying that I didn't even bother looking at the bait stamp numbers. It wasn't until this weekend when I had a little time on my hands that I started looking at the bait stamp numbers and I thought, I'll be doggone.
He said the parents and the grandparents aren't testifying? Wow. I think Lionel's right. I think this guy's actually going to walk. I think this could be crazy. Because if the dad actually did, if he has a story about him turning himself in or confessing to him, well, then you need that guy to testify. You want that guy to testify so bad. But he's not going to testify? Did I hear that right? That's crazy. Lionel's been saying, he's like, this is done. This guy will not at the preliminary. Okay. So maybe they'll testify soon thereafter. Okay. Hopefully. All right.
That was September 11th. He was already in custody at 6:25 p.m. The sheriff must have lied. That's the conclusion I drew. The sheriff had to have lied, in my opinion, allegedly, in my opinion. The disgraced former sheriff of Washington County who resigned in disgrace and dishonor, he must have lied when he said he turned himself in after 8:02. Now, why would they have concocted this lie? Because Tyler went and turned himself in too early. They had not yet fully implemented all of the cover-up, all of the patsying. It wasn't all done yet. And he goes and turns himself in too early. And he hadn't confessed yet. And he didn't die in a shootout. And he's going to claim his right to remain silent. Because at 6:25, he walks in and they say, well, you want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. I'd like a lawyer. Oh, shoot, this wasn't the plan. We needed him to die in a shootout or talk about it. He confess. And he's not confessing. What can we do? Quick. We'll say he didn't arrive until after 8. Someone pump out a Discord message. Oh, okay. Got it. Send. I did it, guys. Enjoy it. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for the laughs. And then he turned him, and then he turned himself in. The problem is they left all these documentary traces everywhere. I don't think they counted on anybody looking over their shoulders. They didn't count on Steven Crowder getting a leaked copy of the Utah County booking sheet. They just didn't.
Oh man, this is wild. So it's been confirmed. I don't understand. When are we going to start seeing Baron's work get put into print? Like, when are we going to start seeing like the Daily Mail or the day? Like, when are they going to start actually taking what he's showing people serious to that extent? I think it's going to happen soon because he made a breakthrough in the case, and everybody's kind of ignoring it. It's very weird to me that he's like, and again, they can only ignore it for so long. Like, eventually he's going to have 500,000. Eventually he's going to have 1 million subscribers. But they can only ignore what he's doing for so long. They're going to have to take it in. Like, eventually, Gary tried to ignore him for a long time. He can't. Blake tried to ignore him for a long time. He couldn't. A lot of people are trying to ignore what he's putting out there because he's not belligerent. He's not going nuts. He has his crash outs, but they're good. But he can't ignore the logic. I mean, look at him. He has a logic book right behind him. Right behind him, there's a logic book right there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long it goes for. I just want to hear one part of the timeline that I was unaware of that he talks about here. Listen to this.
They sure didn't count on anybody comparing bait stamp numbers of different documents filed a month apart. They didn't count on it. They didn't count on it. This document was filed on March 30th, 6 weeks ago. They didn't count on somebody bored over the weekend, kicking his feet up and thinking, have I missed anything? Is there anything in these documents that I've overlooked? They didn't count on it. They didn't count on 8 months later, you guys still showing up, watching podcasts, dig into the case, trying to figure out who done it. Speaking of who done it, I want to run through a timeline with you real quick. This is not going to take care of it. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I want to run through a timeline. This timeline is going to run through a series of events that took place leading up to and then shortly after Charlie's death. And then I want to ask you a question when we get to the end of it. So just bear with me as we go through this. I think particularly on the heels of what we discussed tonight, this is important. January 8th, 2025, Brad Parscale is appointed to Chief Strategy Officer at Salem Media. February 5th, Pam Bondi gets sworn in. And the very first thing she does is says that FARA violations are not going to be criminally enforced unless they're related to espionage. And that was a very weird thing to do, but everybody kind of overlooked it. Now we get March 1st. A supplier who'd been providing bulletproof vests to Charlie Kirk campus tours reported that TPUSA suddenly canceled their contract for the spring 2025 tour. That came to us from Candace. Again, just a weird footnote at the time. And then we go up to May 1st, 2025. The Department of Defense contracts with Accurate Energetic Systems for a miniature demolition charge, anti-personnel, extra small device. That's May 1st. May 2nd, Charlie Kirk sends a letter to the Prime Minister of our greatest ally saying essentially, hey, you guys do your own Hasbro. I'm done. You guys have to handle this on your own from now on. I'm sure that went over well.
That's one of those things in the timeline that I did not know that Charlie said. I thought Charlie sent a letter saying you need to work on your PR. I didn't know it was a letter about him disengaging from being the one or one of the ones that does it for them, that helps them along with that. That's crazy. So that's him stepping back from that place just as he starts to ask questions. That's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big timeline gap that we haven't seen. Or sorry, that I haven't seen. I did not know this. That's crazy. It is damning evidence. Someone said that's damning evidence. It is. 100% it is. That's weird. So for him to walk away and say, I'm not doing this anymore. And then what do we have? May, June, July, August. So, or either July or August. He says he's stepping away from the pro cause. So first he disengages from the Philadelphian government. Then he actually says he's going to disengage from the pro Philadelphia cause. So he was actually just, and I've said this before, so he was actually just disengaging from them completely. And I can't say who did what, but I will say, if you didn't know this was happening, which we didn't before he passed away, we didn't know that these things were happening. We didn't know he was messaging Candace, talking about the Talmud and stuff like that. We had no idea that was happening. He was keeping it very private. You know, he only came forward with the text messages because he probably felt threatened, or he was just trying to make it a louder claim. He had his interview with Ben Shapiro, where he was also trying to make a louder statement, said, I don't think we're being told the truth about this place in the Middle East. I think there's more questions that need to be asked. He even looked at Ben with a very smarmy smirk and said, I've been conditioned to ask more questions nowadays. All I'll say is it would make perfect sense to immortalize someone as your greatest supporter rather than have them walk away and become one of your greatest opponents who now has control of the young people of which BB has said on camera that the real war that needs to be fought is on TikTok and on X. Because he said, and he gathered up he was around all these social media influencers. He was like, that is what we have to learn how to bring in. We have to bring those people in. And now the guy who has the most control over them, because he actually talks with them, is going to step away from you and no longer be your supporter and allow people to ask the questions that, you know, he's been shutting down for the longest time. And now he's going to ask them as well. And he's doing town halls. It just makes sense that you would want that guy to be immortalized as your greatest supporter rather than have him walk away and become whatever the hell he would become if he stepped away. Charlie Fuentes? What? Chucky Fuentes on the loose? Oh my gosh, you don't want that. You know? Myron Kirk? Myron Kirk on the loose? You don't want that. Now he's coming together with people. Probably would be talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. Probably supporting Thomas Massey right now. Definitely not distancing himself from Tucker at all, even as Tucker goes through everything he's going through. And then on top of that, starts putting Candace back on stage and going on tour with her again. The whole pro-Philadelphia cause gets shaken at its foundation if he does that. And I'm just saying this again because it's just like, he sent a letter saying, hey, you guys handle. You guys do that now. I can't do that anymore for you guys. I don't know. Just crazy. Crazy. But yeah, Baron puts together a great timeline. Just a great timeline. I'm going to play a little bit more of it. Hold on. Let's play a little.
May 21, a company called Genesis 21 Consulting is formed in Delaware. The firm is later contracted to provide strategic communications support and influencer outreach for the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So there's obviously a plan in place in the United States. Go back to this here. Charlie writes a letter to Netanyahu and says, you guys handle your own influencer outreach. I'm done. And they say, okay, we'll do it without you. We don't need you anymore. June 3, Bridges Partners LLC is formed in Delaware. We'll talk about that down the road, but that plays into this, I believe. June 18, Charlie Kirk warns Donald J. Trump against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. He's starting to poke his nose into foreign policy.
After sending a letter saying, I'm disengaging with you guys, he then does that. So now I'm disengaging there, and I'm also going to stick my nose in here. And I won. Keep that in mind. That little back and forth that Baron's talking about there, where he warns the president not to do this, he won that. Because he had JD on his side. He had multiple big people in the conservative movement on his side. So he was able to show the president, hey, the base doesn't want this. Charlie just wasn't speaking for himself. He wasn't like, I don't want this. He's like, the base will not support this. The base will hate this. You can't do this. You want to immortalize this guy as somebody who's standing up to you? Or do you want to immortalize this guy as somebody who's supporting you and absolutely loves you?
July 8th, 2025, Charlie Kirk invites Seth Dillon to a Hamptons retreat called Save the West. The Hampton retreat would take place in August. Seth Dillon confirms he was invited on July 8th. 3 days later, July 11, 12, and 13, the Student Action Summit kicks off in Orlando. Charlie Kirk invites a who's who of the people despised by our greatest ally and Charlie's biggest supporters. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Dave Smith.
Anyway, I don't have to get into it too much. This is a part of the timeline. We all know about this part of the timeline. Then it's Megyn Kelly. Then it's, then it's the text message. Then it's Megyn Kelly. Then it's a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes. I think they're going to kill me. Then it's Ben Shapiro. And then he passes away. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know who I would be talking to if I was in this situation, I have to say. I think I know exactly who I'd be talking to. Everything hands behind your back. And then the FBI director is like, you're not allowed to look into foreign ties. I'd be like, case closed, huh, guys? Do we go over there and get him, or do we issue a warrant? What is it? Interpol? Do we call Interpol? We call them up? No, I think I know what happened. Does Interpol do the hands behind your back? They do that, right? So can we just call them up? I think we're just going to call them up. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I'm not flying over there. Hell no, I'm not flying over there. We just send Interpol to go get him. I think we're good. I think we did a good job, guys. Is Kash Patel in the squad car? He is? Okay, good. Hands behind his back? Oh, that's good. Okay, all right. I need to seize all communications between everybody in Turning Point. Just every single employee. Just all of them. I don't care. 4,000 bastards? Okay, whatever. I don't care. They all went over to Philadelphia? Oh, did they? Okay. I need all their communications. I need to know what they talked about. I want to know what happened at those meetings, what they talked about. All right. Rob McCoy? Who's that? Hands behind his back. I don't care. Whatever. Round them up. Round them all up. I don't know. I don't know where we're going to put them. I don't care. Round them all up. Wherever we were putting the immigrants. Where were we putting the immigrants when the border was open? I don't care. Put them in there. Get everybody's cell phone. Why are we all standing around still? Did you call Interpol? Call Interpol. We have to get, there's a world leader. We have to get him. We have to talk to him. Are you kidding? Who did this? Who did this? Isn't it? I don't know. It seems obvious. It seems kind of obvious. Couldn't say for sure. It seems obvious. I don't know. You know, maybe I'm out of line. Maybe I'm out of line. Maybe I'm hands behind my backing too much here. Jeez. Anyway. Baron, ladies and gentlemen. Candace, ladies and gentlemen. Your supers, your coffees, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to put up the coffee link. I do apologize for that. It's all good. We'll see if any came through. It's completely fine. We're already at 2 hours, 11 minutes. Wow. 500 supporters on the coffee app. Thank you very much for that, guys. We have the super chats here. There's a whole bunch of them. We're going to get into those as well. We'll share that link. Let me see here. What do we have for super dupers? Let me see here. Christ is King. You know, giving Erika an honorary doctorate is like giving a sibling a birthday gift at the other sibling's birthday party. Oh, gosh. Hold on. I'll start with that. Them giving Erika an honorary doctorate degree is like giving siblings a birthday gift at the other sibling's birthday party. This stuff pisses me off. There you go. Well, I hear you. Damn it, Jimmy. I'm a doctor, not a grieving widow. The younger people won't even understand that. Damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a grieving widow. That's what she's going to say from now on. Just one coffee today. Don't want coach to OD. Yeah, it's too much coffee, man. It's the combination. I love over-caffeinated coach. We need more of him. I can't do 2 cups of coffee. I do 2 cups of coffee. Like my chest starts to feel weird. I can't even do it. I wish I could. I wish I was one of those people who's like, oh, I have 5 coffees today and I'm going to sleep at 9 p.m. Bye, guys. Oh, and I had a nap. I'm not one of those people. I get too much caffeine in me. I go nuts. B. Lee, Nick Shirley only feels confident enough to snap back at Candace because he knows the power standing behind him. People like him are pushed in front of us for a reason. They package them as good guys doing good work, so the public lowers its guard. That's how deception works. He's corrupt. Now, like I said, I understand people taking this. I understand people taking this type of stance when it comes to Nick. I understand completely. Been lied to so much. Hard not to. Really hard not to. Like I always want to believe, especially as a creator, you always want to believe that you can just create good things and you just, rise to the top and just undeniable. You do want to believe that. You don't want to believe every single person who rises up at all is dipped in baby oil and, is doing things in in a big ballroom, and there's just people going, and he is presented, the 33rd of his kind. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to think it's always like that for everybody. You don't want to feel like that. Someone said Shirley is giving you Fuentes vibes. That's crazy. I know. I kind of know what you mean. They're very different people. That's an interesting type of thing to say. I know what you mean, but they're such drastically different people. One's so loud, one's so quiet, one's charismatic, the other is not charismatic at all. But I understand what you mean there, Yeah, I think when Candace brings up the whole Fed jacketed thing, saying it's like he works with, and he undeniably does. I mean, he was in the room with the president. The president talked to him afterwards. Oh, and I forgot the Adam clip that I was supposed to show you guys. Let me try and find this clip. I mean, what does it sound like to you when you hear this clip? Hopefully I can actually find it. I've played this before, but how do you spell Adam's name? Sosinick? Is that how you spell it? Let me see here. Yeah, this is a very weird clip. I found it right away. Oh, M. There you go. I think M is I liked it. Yeah, so this is the last person. So check this. Check this clip out. This is very weird. I know it's Adam. I know, guys, it's Adam. Please, it's okay. Just give me a few minutes, a couple. Adam took him to dinner. Adam didn't just take him to dinner. He introduced him to some people. But listen to the way they talk about it.
Adam from PBD right here. And we got Tony and we got David. The last interview cut out, David, unfortunately. But Adam, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm with the great Nick Shirley and the great David Hoke and the great Tony. I mean, this guy's got a Face 4 camera. Oh. Fix him up a little bit. Let's can't have our guy looking like that. Green Beret, thank you for your service, man.
What's around here?
It's awesome.
Are you going to be in the State of the Union today?
I'm actually speaking at the State of the Union. President Trump said he wasn't going to make it, so I'm doing it. Me and Nick Shirley.
I don't know if that's what the people want.
No, that's not what they want, dude. The people want more Nick Shirley, though.
Maybe.
Not even a maybe.
We got more videos coming.
You should. So what have you been up to? I saw you were in California.
We got another video coming out from California. Here at the State of the Union today. Tomorrow I go somewhere else, and then Friday I'll be somewhere else too. So,
did you hire an editor yet?
Not yet. I need to hire one.
Shirley and I had a great time. I took you to your first Shabbat. Yeah, Shabbat dinner. I don't do this all that often. We started a small one. Then we went to that ridiculous house. What are your thoughts on that house we went to, by the way?
Very nice.
Ridiculous.
Never been to a Shabbat before. That was interesting.
What'd you think?
Food was good.
Yeah?
Food was good.
The people were okay?
People were nice.
Yeah.
You're like I don't have too many Jewish friends. You might be like my first Jewish friend. Living in Utah, I didn't grow up around any Jews.
Well, look at us now. Are we gonna film an interview too? Yeah, we can do so. Okay. Well, you want to flip it on this for a second?
Sure.
Come on.
Let's run it. Shabbat. What was Shabbat? Shabbat's just.
What does it mean?
Yeah. What does it mean?
Shabbat is the Sabbath, right? So the fact that I'm speaking on behalf of Jewish people is ironically right now because I spend more time in a nightclub than on a Shabbat in Miami. We went.
We did.
We go to live. We had a good time. This guy doesn't drink. He doesn't party. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't, interact with the ladies. He's class act.
Right interact with the ladies, just not at the club.
That's true. Remember, you had some personal situations we're dealing with, and listen, when you're a good-looking guy and you're a celebrity, the ladies, they're gonna slide in the DMs. But Shabbat is the Sabbath, So in the Torah and the historic Bibles, the Sabbath starts on Friday night and ends on Saturday night, and then obviously the Christians, our fellow Christians out there, they observe it on Sunday. But either way, it's a day to give thanks to God and gratitude. And if you're an Orthodox Jew religious, you Charlie Kirk, he wrote the book Stop in the Name of God. You don't use any electronics, or you don't drive, you don't work, and you just spend that day.
We had a good time. I went to my first Shabbat. It was nice. Yeah. The food was good. People were nice.
Yeah,
had a good time.
That's pretty much what it is. We're trying to make Shabbat great again in this country, and that's what obviously Charlie Kirk was. So whether you're a Saturday person or a Sunday person, it's really about just a day of gratitude. And
Still think I'm going to stick to my religion, but I respect it.
Here's one thing that you'll learn about Jews. We're not trying to recruit. That's not our thing. You know, it's like, good. You know,
It was a good time.
Other people, you know, like you're Mormon. You guys recruit a little bit. You guys go down there and you did a mission, I think, in
teach them a little bit.
You were in South America, I want to say.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
At Chile.
To Chile. ¿Hablas español bueno o no?
Sí, obvio
Okay,
que sí.
por supuesto.
Por supuesto.
Somos gringos, pero hablamos bueno. Tony?
Sí, así es.
¿También?
They're saying you're trying to recruit me now. They're saying you're recruiting me.
Here's one thing I know. Don't listen to the chat. They're going to say whatever because it's probably...
No, I'm sticking.
Hey,
but
I
let's
want you
talk.
to stick
Let's talk about State of the Union.
There you go. So it was very odd. It was a very odd little meeting between the two. Very weird little breakdown. Took him to the club. Couldn't get him to drink. Couldn't get him to smoke. Couldn't get him to interact with the ladies. Couldn't dip him in baby oil. Right? Very weird. Very weird. That was one thing that really, when I first saw that clip, I was like, oh, like that's kind of like, they're like pulling you in, kind of. Like, why is Adam taking you to why is Adam taking Nick Shirley to dinner and introducing him to a bunch of people who are crazy rich in a really big, expensive place? Okay. Like what? The whole thing is very odd. Yeah, they both speak fluent Spanish. So does Adam. Adam speaks fluent Spanish as well. Just weird. Couldn't explain it to you any other way. It's very odd, but forgot I was supposed to show that to you guys. Interesting stuff, you know. Nick Shirley, yeah, we already read that one. Let's keep on going. Edible Glitter, aka Stephen Barton. You know why they don't do it? It's because they want this. I think he's talking about Kensington, Philadelphia. If you keep people like this, you can manipulate the opinion of people. The police ignore it. They actually did the Trank Thwing on the Pit TV show and showed what happened. It is sad, and they don't get out of it alive. Over 50%. Christ is king. Oh, by the way, the timeline Baron did of what they put in place and planned out to Charlie is absolutely insane. Silence the voices that oppose. What do you think is going to happen to us when we call out Philly? Same thing they do to the brown people in Syria, in Libya, I don't know, Iran. Tell us what you really think, Steve. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for them watching it all happen, they definitely have to be watching it all happen. It is blocks and blocks and blocks of straight up zombies, of legit zombies. So they have to be knowing that it's happening. There's no way they don't know what's going on. There's no way they don't know who's actually doing it. There's no way. And then to the other thing with Baron's timeline, it's like, yeah, he kind of put it out pretty plainly there. He doesn't even focus on the things that came up in my mind, but you know, thankfully he broke that down for us. That was the thing about Erika getting a birthday cake at her sister's birthday party or getting a birthday gift. I love Caffeinated Coach. So needs to go down here. Sent extra coffees. Wanted to follow up. Candace Battle Bun. Oh Lord, that's long. Oh, that's very, very long. Oh gosh. Well, you know, that's the thing about coffees. Coach, I've sent some extra coffees to go along with this long message. I wanted to follow up the live stream yesterday. I didn't realize you were going to read my message since it was sent in 3 parts. I wanted to provide context. Oh gosh. I'm fairly certain that I first heard about you through Candace. Well, before the Battle Bun, shout out. I initially second guessed myself because I have struggled with memory since undergoing immense chemotherapy in 2022. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're still here at 2022. You know, you beat it. I hope. When you reacted to the shout out, I was only surprised because I recalled Candace mentioning you previously, possibly during a comments reading, which is what originally prompted me to check out your content. I also started watching Ian after discovering your channel, so I didn't find you through him either way. I'm glad I did. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Candace mentioned me one time somebody forced her to because they're like, Coach Colin's doing great work, so she had to read it. It was like the top comment. And then another time she was just talking about the battle button thing. On the face side of things, I am a walking miracle. I was diagnosed with, okay, here we go. Synovial sarcoma, primary to the cervix. Wow. An extremely rare and aggressive cancer with only about 5 recorded cases. Wow. Because it metastasized. Why can I read that word, but I couldn't read the other words? I'm considered stage 4 with 10 to 17% survival rate. However, my journey has been miraculous, and I'm so grateful for the way God has cared for me. That's incredible. I undergo scans and genetic blood work every 3 months, and will do so, less frequency, for the rest of my life. If you ever do a members episode about miracles or the supernatural, or what is that, preternatural experiences, I would be honored to share my story. That's a serious testimony. Additionally, for any viewers struggling with chemo brain, I found that these activities help incredibly, engaging in creative projects that require focus and hand coordination, practicing printing by hand, even if it's repeating the same sentence, reading consistently, playing Sudoku, medium to mastering expert levels. Yeah, I bet you have. Regarding my own channel, I'm very close to launching. I'm finishing my set with this week, which features a classroom setting with radically ambiguous, diverse Barbies that are a hit thicker in size. I will share more information once the first episode drops. Thank you for your support. My prayer for everyone is peace and good health. Without those two things, it is difficult to serve others and share God's love. Peace and good health to you all. Remember to hit that like button. Siempre, siempre. Wow. Even gave me a little plug to hit that like button at the end. Wow. You're an angel. Jeez, that's a lot. You know, as soon as you mentioned the cancer thing, I was like, oh, so why hasn't your channel came out yet? Like, you should be getting on it. You should be getting on it and getting to it as much as possible, you know? Especially, it's like, you know, you're already like kind of won a lottery. You're already doing so good. You're already a walking miracle. It's like, start a channel. You'll probably hit 100,000 subscribers in no time. I'll definitely help you out. I'll definitely help you out where I can. That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Miss Chris Viz. Yeah, great attitude. Incredible attitude. I mean, that stuff's terrifying to me, honestly. I think about it all the time. It's just straight up terrifying. And I hope, yeah, because my dad died of cancer. He had colitis. He had like a stomach thing. Autoimmune, like sensitivities, you know, like I guess he ignored sensitivities for a long time. I think he got colitis, and then that turned into just worse and worse. So yeah, you definitely got to take care of yourself. Definitely got to take care of yourself. Wow. Jeez. Well, thank God for you. The skits. You should 100% do it. But the only skit I want to see is Officer Tatum on the Mountain of Evidence. Can't hear you say that without hysterically laughing for a good 10 minutes. That's hilarious. Yeah, I really want to do some actual skits, man. I really want to do. Yeah, it is. Stomach cancer. Yeah, it seemed very painful for him. He seemed like he was struggling in his last moments because we like had his we were able to see where he passed away, because he just passed away like in his house by himself. So yeah, the skits. I'm just switching from one thing to another like that. But yeah, the skits, evidence. But yeah, I really want to do those really live skits. Like I really just want to throw on a blonde wig and just act like I'm George, you know, George Farmer. I really want to do that. I really want to just like push it to the absolute max. I really think there's a space for that. I really think there is, but we'll see. We'll see. Everything takes time. Just a suggestion, but maybe use orange. Oh yeah, okay, we read this already. All right, perfect. Miss Chris Viz. I mean, just incredible. The stories people have, man. Like so many people have these wild stories. and you just never know what they are. You never know what somebody's story is, and it always seems normal to them. Like, I'm sure you have a story, whoever's listening to this, you have a story, and for you it's completely normal. And if somebody else heard it, they'd be like, that's incredible, you're able to get through that. We love you, Candace, Baron, Ian. You are our go-tos. Just wanted to tell you, your audio and video are not lining up. Are you aware? Yes, I am. Just wondering if it's just me, but I tried on two accounts. Our fave bit, go Zio Rangers. Oh, they all turn into BB. They all get together and they form BB. You know? And they each have a thing. I'm victimhood. I'm gaslighting. Oh man, they all have their own thing. Money. Oh, come on. These are jokes, guys. These are jokes. Anyway. Just to add, always be true. To add to Baron's timeline, on July 17th, Charlie Kirk made a 5-minute tribute to John MacArthur. Timestamp 4 minutes. Charlie sent a clear message. After that, someone sends an email to request the UVU event. Just saying. To add to Baron's timeline, Charlie makes a 5-minute tribute to John Arthur. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Someone said Fuentes is a gay fed. I don't know. I can't tell. You know? I hear that all the time. I used to hear Joe Rogan's gay all the time. People always used to tell me that. They'd be like, Joe Rogan's gay, right? I'd be like, really? What a muscly guy to just, be like that. I was like, you okay, bro? John MacArthur. Let's see. I'm not going to play it now. He does. He does have a tribute to John MacArthur. Thank you for that. I will look into that. Definitely. Thank you very much. Always be true. Appreciate you. You sent that twice. What's going on here? Okay. Let's move on to the super chats. Ladies and gentlemen, move on to the supers. Let's see what's going on. Let me move this. Get this out of here. Get this up here. Let's start at the top, the tippy. I have to make the screen bigger so I can actually read this. Allegedly, maybe perhaps no longer needed when talking about the 7K for pro Philly post. M. Kelly confirms on her last show, $9 million was allocated for Project Esther. Huh. Really? Megyn Kelly confirms this. I'm just going to write Project Esther. Really? 9M for pro P posts. Okay. All right. I didn't check that out. I didn't know that. Thank you very much. Let's jump over here. Some people wake and bake, but Candace gives us the wake and Blake. Yeah, Mark, if you're not a father, you need to be a father instantly, because the dad jokes that you are going to have, the deadpan dad jokes that you're going to have, are going to embarrass your children beyond belief. And that is what fatherhood is about. That is what it's all about. Ames 1969. Oh my God. I love your show. You make me laugh so much. Just hysterical. Calm down, Ames. Lisa, Boxer Dog Mom. Blake is wondering who found his secret. He's like, where'd they get that picture of me? Andrew, are you leaking more pictures of me? I would never leak pictures of you, Blake. Why would you say that? Tyler comes in. Are you guys fighting again? You guys have to stop fighting all the time. I'm kidding. They don't talk like that, do they? Coach. Oh, Coach's wife. Oh, the wife. The wife's here. This is a free membership renewal message. Why? You just, oh, okay. You got it for free? Is that what's happening? I just wanted to say I love you. I'm so proud of everything you've done. And the man you are, love, you are You are loved, best husband and dada. Thank you so much, honey. I love you. Love you very much. Mwah, 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 mwah. Regina, the godmother. I was washing dishes last night. It finally dawned on me what sugar honey iced tea means. That's so funny. That's amazing. That's Officer Tatum. He's smart. He codes things up just right. You thought my code words were serious. Look at his code words. Friend of the show, brother of the show. Go, go, zesty Zio Rangers. Blake's the Pink Ranger. That's funny. M-Star Studio. Roaches running rampantly in the light of truth. I heard that. Going forward, zesting a lemon must be known as blaking a lemon. Did you put some Blake? Did you put some lemon Blake on it? I did actually. You know, Mark, ladies and gentlemen, dad joke extraordinaire. That was actually a good one though. That's a good one. That's that Mark Norman joke. See, that's how I, that's when I first met Mark, I was like, this guy loves Mark Norman. I didn't even know if he even knew who Mark Norman was. I was like, this guy for sure loves Mark Norman. Just hearing his comedy, how he goes about things. Miss Lacey, is there a doctor in the room with us? No. Oh, just Erika? Only two single men were elected press or VP, so she'd have to get remarried. Any eligible bachelors for her who are also pathological liars? Oh my gosh. That's such a nice request, but also just like, a backhanded loving request, She really needs somebody. She's great. You just need to be a pathological liar just like she is. Anybody? Is there a doctor? Can you imagine? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Huh? You see her. She's like this. She's like, I am. Is there a doctor in the house? Just Erika? I'm so sorry, sir. You're about to die. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Just say anything to the God that you believe in, okay? Just go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine, ma'am. It's fine. This man's going to die. It's completely fine. Just accept it. Yeah, it's only Erika. I know. I'm sorry. She's just like, I am. Hello. They're like, just accept your fate, son. It's over. Keep going here. Oh man, my voice is just, after 3 hours, my voice just takes a kicking. D Welly, something tells me Charlie made that statement. Erika would do a great job, maybe in a conversation about homeschooling their kids. That's possible. I'm telling you, if we search the whole database of what Charlie has said, we will find all of those clips that they used in that little blurb. I think we'll find them all, honestly. But yeah, homeschooling the kids, could be talking about her doing a great job, or it could be just, there's so many different things, because when they would have an interview together, if there was an interviewer or whoever was hosting, it would be so tongue-in-cheek. So many things would be so tongue-in-cheek. I don't know. Love is a 4-letter word. Bros, leave the podcasting to Coach. Never try overriding Coach. Sheesh. Yeah, just leave it to me. I got it. It's the same thing when you're on stage. There's always somebody who's just like, because I was up, and you're just like, you don't have a microphone. Hey, no one can hear what you just said. What are you doing? I said I just wanted to. And you're like, we can't hear you, man. Okay, it's enough. I saw like, what is happening right now? Stop speaking. You don't have a microphone. I'm kidding. Hecklers in comedy shows are way worse. A heckler inside of a chat, it's just like, it's like whatever. Heckler in a comedy show, it's like, jeez, you're very loud. You're disrupting everything right now, you know? Candace knows exactly what happened to Charlie. She's putting on a show for YouTube. She's milking this for as long as she can. Candace is so phony. Erika MKX Kitten Kirk. That's your name? This is very odd. It's a very odd name you have there. Tell us what you really think. I don't think she is. I don't think she knows. I mean, you'd have to be going with the, and a lot of people are starting to go down this road, the whole road of Charlie being alive. And then she was told that by Erika when they went to the meeting. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think she doesn't know. I don't think she can. Well, I'm sure she has information that we don't know about, but definitely people always go milking it for YouTube. Like, oh man, just milking it. It's like, bro, she was talking, go look at the views when she was talking about Blake Lively. I was like, are there this many people who want to listen to a show about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? I'm like, what is this? And then she switched over to Brigitte, or she did Brigitte first, or I forget how it went. And I was like, just as many views. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this is crazy. People don't comment. And then you go to Daily Wire days. She has a thing where she can talk about anything. So she doesn't have to milk anything. She could just move on to the administration and go, I'm doing a series on the administration and how terrible and corrupt all of them are. And everybody would be like, okay, I guess we're watching this now. Like, she could do whatever. She could be like, files just happened. She could talk about UFO disclosure and we'd all be like, okay, here it goes. People are acting like they don't get it. They're acting like they don't understand that she can talk about anything. Or they're just tuning in now and they have like this swelled up emotional feeling towards the Charlie Kirk case. And they just feel that way just because of Charlie. But it's like, go check the track record. It's like, she's been talking about whatever she wanted for a long time and still getting views, how many people are like, they say to me, like, Joe Rogan stopped bringing in the money. Bitch, are you crazy? Joe Rogan stopped bringing in money? Are you nuts? Are you out of your mind? I could do a Joe Rogan video right now. It's good. It's probably going to do better. If I did a Joe Rogan live stream, are you kidding me? You're nuts. But it's getting to the point where I can break down anything. I can sum up anything and people will be like, oh, okay. This is a 4-hour thing. I don't want to watch the 4-hour thing. Coach knows how to do it in 40 minutes. Okay. I'll watch this. It just happens. So sorry that you're dumb. Erika MK X Kitten Kirk. Sorry that you're a dumb person. People are gonna be mad about that. And he called her dumb after. I'm not gonna go into the whole Baron Joe thing, okay? I'm not gonna offer you a logic book. Okay. I'm letting you off easy. Right. Sorry. This is a pro Candace house here. That's what's gonna happen, I've been hate watching you for months. How dare you speak to me like that? People always get like that. Suck it up. Can we at least agree that her hairdresser deserves an honorary degree in hair? Hey, I'm with you. Because of my wife, I notice hair now. I notice it. I know when things are complicated and look really good. I understand. Like, it deserves an honorary degree. I could see that. 100% I could see that. I don't know if Hillsdale will give it to her. Maybe they will. I don't know. They're just handing them out, apparently. Pat Sajak was there. Was Pat Sajak? Hold on a second. Was Pat Sajak getting an honorary degree? What was he getting a degree in? What's going on? All these honorary degrees. It was so funny when they took back Bill Cosby's honorary degree. They were like, they should have, instead of taking back his honorary degree, they should have switched it and put his honorary degree into chemistry. Boom, boom. I'll be here all week, guys. Should have gave him an honorary degree in chemistry. That's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. I know. Anyway, member for 2 months. Well, can you get a real doctorate like my brother, 12 plus schooling, or just have money and influence? Yeah. I think you can just have money and influence. I think you can run some of the biggest, conservative companies in the world and a conservative college will look at you and say, I think you deserve a degree. Because if you, as that massive platform, start to say, if you start to say, hey, I think this college is the best. I think they're so good that I accepted an honorary degree. And my husband, who we've made into this manufactured messiah, he also earned an honorary degree. And also he used to love doing the certificates. That's a pretty big advertisement, especially from a company that clearly had a founder and CEO who did not like college or university. Just saying. Yeah. They paid for this speech because it's the only way they could have her talk in front of a full crowd right now. She was like, I'm not coming unless it's full. They're like, all right, get all the students, get them all in here. Get in here. Just sit down and clap. Just don't worry about it. We're just trying to, we're just making a connection here. That's all. A lady, I can see it now. Charlie loved Coke, not Pepsi. Slowly, Vale. Yennyvale. Just a heart. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. A heart back to you as well. So sad that Charlie just wanted to work out and do his classes rather than go up to their hotel room and get it on with her. Come on. He's a focused guy. I don't know. Well, maybe. You could be right. You're wrong. No one is in her league, and she came at him first. I really wish you guys would leave Nick Shirley alone. I already addressed this whole thing. What I said stands. What you're saying is just nonsense. Yeah. I came with at least a thought out thing. I think I was pretty well balanced in that. But you're just coming with emotion. That's it. What's that meme? Let me see this if I can find this meme. The leave her alone. Let me see. Let me show you what you look like. Leave her alone meme. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, come on. Can't find it? Oh, there it is. This is you. Here. Check it out. This is you. That's you. Leave princess alone. Leave her alone. That's you. Okay. That's what you sound like when you get emotional about stuff like this. That's what you look like. Okay. All right. Can you clip that? Clip that for later. Don't cancel me, M3. Clip that for later so you have it with you. All right. Thank you so much. Anyway. Excuse me, I've been hate watching this channel for weeks. How dare you? Even when my toddler prevents me from actively listening, I click on your live daily to support. Also, not to bring up old stuff, but hopefully you remember your baby's birthday better than you did your wife's this year. What do you mean? I remembered her birthday, didn't I? Did I forget? Oh, I forgot to buy some. I didn't forget her birthday, but I forgot to buy something. But I still got it done. I just didn't buy it. I'm usually comfortable buying something like 2 weeks before. And then I'm like, okay, it's handled and I can just like run around and be all erratic and stuff. But it was like 3 days before. Or no, it was like 2. You're right, actually. It was like maybe, I think it was 2 days before. Like it might even be like 36 hours before. I didn't have a lot of time. But I got it done. And my baby's birthday is on my birthday, so I'm good there. The new baby's birthday is on my birthday, so we're all right. Surely you must be fed jacketing. No, I'm not fed jacketing, and stop calling me Shirley. That is a good. I mean, that's a solid. That is a solid dad joke. I don't know where you got that. If you came up with that yourself, you have a talent. Okay. That is your dad must have had great dad jokes for you to have that joke locked and loaded like that. That's a good joke. That's talent. Kelly W. My husband has a real doctorate degree. He worked hard, and paid student loans for years. I don't think anyone should have something handed to them. Yeah, I don't think I'd accept that either. If I got offered one of those, which I don't see how I ever could. But I don't think I would take it. I'd be like, nah. Because you're right. Like people work crazy hard for that type of thing. And for me to just kind of step in and just be like, hey guys, and just take this degree, I don't know. It seems a little crazy. It seems a little crazy to me. I just I don't think I could do that. You know? Or maybe I would. I don't know. I don't think I would though. And then, you know, I also don't like doing stuff. So if you were like, oh, I'm gonna give you a degree, if you just like gave it to me in my house and you're just like, here you go, I'd be like, oh, thanks, man. But if it's like, oh, you gotta show up and you gotta wear a stupid hat and you gotta do a speech, and I'd be like, oh, come on, man. I'd be like, save it. I didn't even go to school. What are you doing? I don't want to do all this. And then what are you giving me a degree in? They're like, oh, give it to you in literature. I'm like, I don't deserve that. I don't read enough. What are you talking about? I don't deserve anything like that. What are you going to give it to me in math? I'm terrible in math. Science? What are you, nuts? Like, there's nothing you can get. I don't deserve it. Don't worry about it. Just keep it. Give it to some. Isn't there someone doing a doctorate right now? Just give it to them. Just fast track them. Just say, here you go, buddy. Don't give it to me. I can't. What am I going to do with this thing? You know, I'm not going to hang it up. Anyway, Lance Charles, address to Hillsdale College, 33 East College Street. That's interesting. That's actually interesting because there's a big belief. I shouldn't speak for Masons, but I know there's a significance to them in the East. Not in the East, but East. I don't know why. I couldn't explain it to you. I probably didn't even do the right thing just now, point the right way, but they have a thing about East. So it's very interesting that's, and it's on College Street, 33 East. Interesting. And it's almost like the E acts as like a 333. Very interesting. Thank you, Lance. Lance Charles. Insight, full discourse. I want to be an AI bot when I grow up. Well, you can be. You can be. You know, and I'm not even making that up. You know, they take people. They're doing this, you know, they're doing this for people who pass away and their families still want to talk to them. They will take every text message that you've ever written, every email you've ever written, every letter, every correspondence that you've ever put together, and maybe even your voice if you've talked enough online, and they will put it all into a large language model, and then your family will be able to talk to you, but it will be a bot. So you actually could be an AI bot when you grow up. That is a real thing. I think it's very eerie. I wouldn't want that, but it's a real thing. More coming soon, I'm sure. Coming for Candace is the kiss of death. I never advisable. Yes, Katrina. This is I think that's how you say it, Katrina. This is very true. Very, very true. Don't know why they would do that. Patrick Bet David's podcast has become that thing though, where they just do that. Nick came to Seattle a year ago exposing fentanyl. Well, that's not enough. It's not enough. You got to go to Kensington. Don't tell me about any place when I'm talking about Kensington. You got to expose Kensington. You got to go there because there's clearly some kind of fraud going on. There's clearly something going on that they're allowing it the way that they are. You have to go directly to Kensington. Tell me when he goes to Kensington, because somebody actually pointed out, I forgot, it was a comment, but somebody pointed out that Tyler Oliveira, I believe his name is, he went to Kensington. He did a whole video on Kensington. He went hard in that video. Also, a guy like that, he tried to get into Philadelphia recently, and they didn't let him in. He wanted to expose the truth. He went to a Philadelphian community in America, and that got him kicked off all platforms. That's how you can look at someone and go, that guy's not a plant. That guy's truly just running around making videos because he keeps making mistakes, you know, quote unquote mistakes. He went to that community, he did something, and they're like, oh, you're off. He went to India, and all of a sudden he's like, you know, getting death threats because he went to India and he's exposing some poop festival or something that they had. He's gone through how they get people from, I think it was India into Canada through to America. He went through that whole thing, right? Poking holes in what the administration has in terms of the border, showing certain communities that people aren't allowed to talk about, being barred from entering Philadelphia because they didn't want him to expose anything. That's how you look at someone and you go, okay, that guy's not a plant. That's just me though. Yeah, that's how I think of it. Baron has perceptualized this timeline. Mama, somebody said perceptualize. I told you that was a word, mama. Perceptualize ain't no word, baby. Mama, it's a rare word. They used to use it way back in the day. I'm from back in the day, baby, and ain't nobody perceptualizing nothing back in the day, baby. Now get down from that mountain of evidence and come have something to eat. Mama, I'm looking at all these. I'm perusing through files about Tyler Robinson and his furry lover. I don't know what none of that means, baby. Go ahead, get down. Anyway, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Command Center is actually an American. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not, man. No, it's not. Come on. No, it's not. Don't. Come on. Is it? That's crazy if that's true. That's wild if that's true. Rachel J, thank you for sharing yourself with us. You make a big difference in my mornings, and I'm sure many others. You keep me smiling. God bless you. Thank you so much, Rachel. I really appreciate you. What is this name? Desvin Booma? Am I reading that correctly? Desvin Booma? That is some name you got there. I like it. Thank you very much. Always be true. They finished Charlie's book or rewrote it. Yeah, can you imagine if they just like rewrote Charlie's book? You never know. You have no idea what was in that book as he was finishing it. One joyful ladybug. I had another suspicious data center story to get to you yesterday. Super chat wouldn't send. Florida's Everglades fire, very close to proposed data center. And like Cali and Maui might be a huge, yeah. Interesting. I did see a video about that recently. I didn't get to watch it, but that was the heading. They were talking about that. Really, really weird. Really weird what's going on. Expect to see more. I bet. Good morning, coach, everyone. Good morning, coach, everyone. Just got home from my last. My head hurts. Are we any closer to solving the Kirk case? What did I miss? Oh, you got to watch Baron. Baron pulled out a timeline on everybody. And he didn't pull it out of nowhere either. He's breaking some stuff down. I have a silly rule. And also, Philadelphia. I have a silly rule that likes must be earned for each video. Coach, you earn it every time. Much love to you and the fan. I wish I had that same rule. I don't have that same rule. I will be watching someone I don't even like, and I see that the like button isn't pressed, and I go to press it, and I go, oh, wait, I don't like this person. Hold on a second. I just like videos. As soon as I start watching them, I start liking them. I'm weird that way. Lindsey Graham. Oh, gosh. Lindsey Graham, ladies and gentlemen. Lindsey Graham, ladies and gentlemen. Lindsey Graham, what does Lindsey Graham have to say? I just want to let y'all know that a war with Cuba and Russia and Ukraine and, oh, man, just any kind of war would just be so good right now. Y'all got any wars? Do y'all have any wars? I've just been looking for wars. Can anybody help me? I'm trying to get elected again. Make war great again, please. I'm kidding. It's not that Lindsey Graham. It's another Lindsey Graham. I would tune in to listen to Candace read the phone directory. Can you imagine? Candace is reading the phone directory and she's just like, and now we get to this name. And let me tell you about this person here. And she starts doing a deep dive into the person. Calls him up. Hello? Skinny laughing hysterically. What's going on, Skinny? Hats cover the Blake using a fake account named EK Ultra blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think so. Blake would do that, impersonate a lady, I'm kidding. I think Blake's a great guy. He must be. Rachel Hey, 33. In my opinion, Charlie Kirk was in love with Candace Owens, settled for Erika Kirk. You know, I've thought of that. I don't bring it up because Candace is married, but I have thought of that. You know why? Because there's a clip where Jack Posobiec, I don't even know if I say his name right, and Tyler, and they're kind of making fun of Charlie. They're like, you know, in the early days, people used to think you and Candace were married. And Charlie gets kind of flustered as they're talking about it. He goes, yeah, he's like, whatever. And then they start laughing because of, you know, that he's getting all flustered. They start laughing at him. And it makes you wonder, you know, he was really into what he did. He's calling her the Iron Lady. He's saying to her, let me tell you something. If my wife had a guy friend, okay, not happening, by the way. If my wife had a guy friend and this guy friend was like, I feel like you are the not saying that Candace and George were married when this happened, but if my wife had a guy friend and he said, I feel like you were the missing piece that God meant me to find, I'd be like, hand me the phone, baby. Go ahead and hand me the phone. I don't know what's going on right now. Go ahead and hand me the phone. I'm going to be like, listen, buddy, I don't know what you think is going on right now, but you're going to have to stop talking to my girl like this. That's a thing to say. I'm just saying. It's a pretty out there thing to say. Think you're the missing piece God meant me to find. That's some player stuff right there. You're the Iron Lady. You know you're the Iron Lady. You know you're going to take this mission to the next level. You're that missing piece that God meant me to find. That's a pimp named Slickback talk. That's what type of talk that is. Easy there. But he could have loved her like that. And she could have been like, you're like a little brother. So we're not doing that. You're younger than me. She's like, what? He's like, what? 6 years younger? She's like, we're not doing that. Okay, buddy. We're just going to work. That could have easily happened. People keep talking about it the other way. And us on the other side of things, we don't push for the whole, you know, actually Erika was a second choice or Charlie loved Erika. We don't push that narrative, but it is something to consider. I feel bad for Tyler Robinson. If he actually didn't take that shot, you should feel bad for him because that's crazy, you know? Lindsay Harris, what if Candace Owens was the other girl that Charlie Kirk was crushing on and she was the one that had to let him down easy? Oh, yeah. That was, yeah. Didn't Candace mention that? Candace mentioned that. Huh. Imagine. Listen, and again, I don't know. I have no idea, but could easily be that. She was like, no, you need to find a girl. I'm your business partner. We're building something together. I don't want to do that. Because it seems like Candace would be like that type of person where you'd be like, you work with her and you're hitting on her and she's just like, yeah, what are you trying to do right? She seems like she'd so be that uncomfortable person that wouldn't just be like, that's sweet. She'd be like, what are you trying to do right now? Are you trying to like hit on me? Charlie, we're in a room. Okay. We're in this room together like this. And you're actually trying to do, what are you doing? Are you serious? I don't care if you're 10. I don't care if you're 7'4". Sleep on the couch. You're on the couch. This is ridiculous. You know, she seems like she's that type of lady that would just like call you out in front of everybody. You know? For the baby. Thank you so much, Sydney. Appreciate you. I'll hand the baby a 20 for his troubles. Drew, Sijek, hello from Poland. Man, I used to have a good friend growing up who was Polish. They were like the first devout Catholics I ever met. And I used to know how to say hello in Polish. Czech. Is it Czech? I can't say it now. I can't say it. You knew I couldn't pronounce that either. That's why you did it. You could have just said hello. You know you could have. But you put that word there for me to just stumble over. Czech. I don't know. Coach, I apologize for asking. I don't have the Mountain of Evidence. What about what happened to ... Did this actually not finish or am I tripping out? I don't have the Mountain of Evidence. Did it actually finish or is this tripping out? Or did you actually write ... Let me see here. No. The Mountain of Evidence. Are you talking about Tatum? Are you talking about Tatum? I wish I had tissues, man. Oh, I wish I had some tissues. Crazy. All right. Well, what happened to who? Do you know about that place in Canada where the substances are legal? The place that is 10 times worse than Kensington? And imagine that because Kenzie is bad AF. You might be talking about BC. British Columbia, I think they have their own version of Skid Row. I'm pretty sure that's where you're talking about. It could be Windsor. Windsor's known to have a really bad problem, but they have like a violence type of problem more so than substances. I think you're talking about BC. I think that's where you're talking about. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's BC. And yeah, I kind of know about that place. I don't know I don't know that it's legal, but I think they help people stay clean. You know, like they have these stations that are like clean needle stations and things of that nature. They will have like the supplies that they use, instead of reusing things and getting infected and getting sick and dying that way, they give them clean tourniquets for their arms. Like it's pretty crazy. And they give them clean, sterile stuff to use, because otherwise they'll start sharing stuff, and that's how disease spreads. And it's a real issue. It's a real issue. But yeah, congrats on the baby. Loomer's filler bustard face. Wow, that is a wild name to have. That is a wild name to have. Always be true. Don't forget to check out Charlie's tribute. I won't. I have it pulled up. It's literally right beside this tab that I'm on right now. Right beside it. I'm going to check that out right away. I just sent a coffee with no name. It's the bad one. It's the bad one. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what you're talking about. Let's see. There's one with no. Your name's there. Nutmeg Irish ginger. Nutmeg Irish. I'll read it. All right. I see it. I know which one that is for sure. Colleen Kelly. I was 17. Had a boyfriend. My dad said he walked like 10 after 10. Dad joke. He walked like 10 after 10. Man, I'm a millennial. I can't even just picture a clock. 10 after 10. Everything I have is digital. I'm not even wearing my watch. 10 after 10. What would that look like? That would look like, like knock-kneed. 10 minutes after 10. Or you walk like this because the 10 is here. Yeah. So you walk. Okay. So you like at a duck walk. 10 after 10. I guess. That's an old school dad joke. You talking about clocks? That's an old school dad joke. Charlie Kirk honors the legendary John MacArthur. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have it. I have it on lock. I'm going to play it for you guys tomorrow, because we're already at 3 hours here. Let's go through here. Getting off a horse. Yeah, like he walks like that. 10 after 10. So it's like he's walking like that. Like Tate. That's how Tate walks. Let's see here. You said there's a bad coffee. A bad coffee. I kind of read it. It's a little funny. It's funnier to me. I don't know if everybody will find it funny. I don't know if everybody will find it funny, but let's see here. Show it. We love Canada. Okay, here. Let's start here. Let's start with Kai. I love watching your show. It prepares me for when I begin delving into the dark YouTube/X abyss. Haha, humor is a universal language. It brightens my day. Thank you so much. I'm glad that it brightens your day. Let's go here. Mama, this nutmeg Irish ginger granola apricot been making fun of the way I talk. That's funny to me. I don't know about everybody else. I found that funny. Thank you. Thank you, Guzman. Mike Riley here. Been too busy with real life to be on X, but damn, coach, you doing something right if you got those folks watching your pockets. That's so funny. I'd get 7 different meal services for each day of the week and get the baby some iced out pacifiers. But isn't there a video of Fuentes and Destiny playing tummy sticks? Oh my gosh. Or am I misremembering? That is so funny. There is not. I think I am doing something right. You're correct about that. And then meal services. Well, you got to pick your heart in life. It's either I pay for a meal service or I pay for a heart surgery. So I always figure that the heart surgery is going to cost less than the meal service and the gym equipment. So I always just invest in health before anything else, because when those health things hit and they hit out of nowhere, boy, oh boy, they bankrupt people, and it's out of nowhere. You're better off just staying healthy. And that's word up to everybody. Stay healthy. Stay as healthy as you possibly can. Because if God forbid it did happen to you, it just knocks you right out, you know? And I know it seems like you can't stop a heart attack, but you can't stop it if it's, if it's God's will, sure. But gosh, man, don't feed the fire of a heart attack. You know what I mean? Get your celery in, get your stuff. Get your stuff together. Health is wealth, man. You need your health. It's the worst thing. Like right now, it's like, yeah, I'm losing weight and everything, and it feels good. But man, I used to have an 8-pack. Like I'm telling you, I had an 8-pack. I'm not exaggerating. And I could just move around. Now it's like you put on socks and you're like, it's like it doesn't have to be like that. Your life doesn't have to be like that. You can be in shape. You can be in shape, man. So just try, do what you can, but just think about it. Just think, if you don't have a gym membership right now and you're like, man, I can't afford a gym membership. Think about what could happen if you lost your health. Think about what it would cost if you blew out your knee and needed your ACL reattached. Like, think about what that costs. Go look at the math with your health coverage, if you even have health coverage, and look at how much those things cost. Socks take 2 working days to get on. I gotta slip them on. I used to just stand up and just lift my foot up and just go zoop. Now I gotta go down. I gotta put the sock, curl it up, bundle it up, and go, okay. It's different now. It's like, come on, man. And it's crazy because I can remember what it's like. I can remember running 10 miles and being like, okay, all right, on to my workout. I can remember that. I can remember it clearly. It was only like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Running 10 miles, easy, no problem at all. Just listening to like David Goggins audiobook, just no problem, just running. Don't take it for granted. I'm in a very unique position where I can feel the health not being there, you know? Like I go on runs with my kid, and then my watch will be like, your cardio condition's not good. Your cardio is very bad. Poor cardio. And I'm like, I wasn't even doing cardio. I was just running around with my kid. I mean, pick your hard. Pick your hard. You got to pick your hard in life. Anyway, Destiny and Nick playing tummy sticks. You'd have to search a very dark part of the internet to find that. I'm not sure I can help you with that, Mike Riley. Not sure I can help you with that one. And sleep. Oh gosh, how important sleep is. You have no idea. You have no idea how important sleep is. Please get your sleep. It's crazy. And I'm talking to the young people, because the older people know what's up. Older people are like, hell yeah. The younger people are like, what do you mean? 4 hours is enough. I'm telling you, get your sleep in, get your health in, and keep it. My brother, I got brothers that are athletes. I was never athletic. I was never really athletic at all. But my brother, my oldest brother, he's been 180 pounds. He's fit. He's been 180 pounds for 30 years. Sometimes he goes up to 185. Sometimes he goes down to 179. And it's been like that for 30 years. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And he's in real good condition. Real good condition. Anyways, guys, health is wealth. Please take your health seriously, no matter what anybody thinks. Anyway, gonna head out of here right now. Oh, geez, because I gotta take care of my health. I gotta work out. I don't even think I should work out because I'm coming down with something, or at least I was coming down with something. So I might have to just rest, but I do have to look after my food, make sure I eat the right amount, because I don't want anything. Yeah, and yeah, Miss Chris Viz, she was just saying it. I completely forgot that as I was saying it. She was just saying, she's like, peace and good health, because she's talking about it. It's like, God forbid something happens, man. God forbid. You just hang on to your health as much as you can, man. As much as you can. Do what you can. I know it feels like, man, I don't have money to spend on that. Just go check out what a heart surgery costs. Go check it out. Go see how much a heart surgery costs. You're going to be shocked at the price. Go check it out with your health coverage, how much you would have to pay. It's crazy, but it's preventable. Anyways, please like the video. Helps tremendously. You guys have no idea. Candace is going live. No idea what she's going to be talking about. Haven't seen anything on X. I might start to look into it right now. Baron, I think, is going live. Maybe not. Maybe not. Tuesday. He might not go live. But bum. See you tomorrow.